Here we are. What's up, Mr. Zeb South?
What up? Chilling.
Big job.
Big job in the house.
So real quick, tell us what you do and why you do it.
Oh man. Well, I play music. I was gonna say country music, but not exclusively. I think everything I do is pretty much with a country twang a little bit. But yeah, just play some music. Why do I do it? Because I like playing music. I like having a good time. I like to write some songs sometimes, although I've been a little bit of a drought on that. But I have no problem playing covers. I like to do some covers. I like to get people fired up. I'm on the stage. So sometimes we just play some stuff that they know. And I just have a good time being on stage. I kind of flip a switch when I get to be in front of a microphone and turn into a different person. And it's the person I like to be, so I do it as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's pretty much why, I'd say.
And you're playing out a lot?
Playing out a lot, man. Beyond my wildest expectations that I'd ever be able to play out as much as I'm playing right now. We've got just finished an every Wednesday gig down there at the Bronte Bistro. Just finished up doing that. I did that for about 8 weeks, and now we started on an every Thursday gig at the Horse and Jockey downtown Lexington, which is turning into be a real fun thing so far. Next week we have Thursday Night Live beginning for all of you Lexingtonians out there. You probably might know about Thursday Night Live. And the bar is right there at the pavilion where that happens, so we're expecting a lot of people out there every week starting next week. Very excited about that. And then just a lot of different various shows on the weekends that I've been able to set up throughout the spring and summer that are starting to come into fruition with me now. So July's looking real good. The rest of June's looking pretty good. Going down to Johnson City, Tennessee this weekend to play in support of Caleb Bailey, good friend of mine. He's going down and has a show in his hometown of Johnson City on Friday. And I set one up for Saturday night with our band, and he's going to come play with us on Saturday. So we've got a full weekend coming in Johnson City, Tennessee, and then back to the Thursdays and back to the weekends around the Lexington area here after that. Excited.
What made you get into playing music? I don't think I know that.
Well, I didn't really do it until I was about 13, 14. See, my dad always played guitar as I grew up, and back in the day, back in the late 70s, he was in a two-man country band, and they kind of played around the Muncie, Indiana area. And but that was before my time. But as I grew up, I could kind of remember him always once in a blue moon, he'd get the guitar out and play some Folsom Prison Blues or something like that. But I never took an interest in it really until I was about 13 or 14. And at that time I was kind of into hip hop music. And
really?
Yeah, believe it or not. Oh, I can drop some bars, bro.
Okay.
Oh, you have to drop me a beat sometime. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was like 13, 14, probably 13, I guess. And I remember scrolling through the radio dial. At that time in the truck there was a radio dial. I came across King of the Road by Roger Miller, and I just had never heard anything like that before. And I was like, man, that's good, you know? And then I started getting really into Roger Miller because he's an incredible artist. And then that led me down to the Time Life Music Classic Country Collection. And I started really getting into classic country music. And then just naturally, I think the next thing was wanting to learn how to play guitar. And I had the old man show me a couple of chords on the guitar, and that's about far as I went with it all through my teenage years, just beating around on, G, C, and D, and just having some fun, no songwriting, no nothing, just trying to learn a couple covers here and there, and that was pretty much it. That's all I really did with music. And then in the Army, I was in the Army right after high school, and I had a few songs under my belt by then, so people started, would come, I play a song South, they call me South, and so I would just started gradually learning more songs, getting more into it, and by the time I got out of the Army, I was decent enough to just be at a party and pick a guitar up or whatever. And then later, a little bit later in life, after I got out of the Army, I met a guy named Chris Bingman, Dr. Chris Bingman. He'd be mad if I didn't call him doctor, though he's not a real doctor. He says he's a OB-GYN, practicing OB-GYN, and he practices a lot. That's what he says. But anyhow, it's neither here nor there. But I met him, and he played mandolin, and was really into old country and bluegrass music. He had been in the bluegrass band, and he liked my singing, and he said we should start doing some gigs. And I was like, I wouldn't even know how to get a gig. He said, oh, I can get a gig, and he started getting little gigs for us and dives around Columbus, Ohio, and so I started playing just me and him as a duo. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we had a bass player that was at the show one time. And, hey, you need a bass player. And then we had a drummer, and then we had a steel guitar player, And then pretty soon we had a band around Columbus, and I was doing that from about 2008 to 10 or 11. We played quite a bit around Columbus mostly.
What's the biggest difference between the music scene here
Um,
and there?
Well, I think it's more robust here. But then again, also at that time, I was just a nobody, you know, like I'm still a nobody, but I was really a nobody then. So I didn't know that many bands or anything in Columbus. And the difference to me is I kind of know everybody here. You know, like I've met so many people, and people were very just supportive, just like you guys. And just everybody's been super supportive of me and of other musicians and help you get gigs and different stuff. So that's probably a big difference, I would say, is just that. And I don't know that, I hate to say anything bad about Columbus's music. Maybe I just didn't know enough people back then. But since I've been here, it's been really just an open arms type of deal. And people want to get together and jam. I mean, you guys have been over and I'll throw the big jobs, throw the fire on, and people come out of the woodworks and just jam, passing the guitar around. And then you see those same people at shows and stuff. And it's like, man, I'm lucky to have some really talented, you know, friends around here that are also not pricks, you know.
I was about to say that.
You know,
it's good to have talented people.
It really is, you know, especially
ones
that are inclusive, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. But just to wrap up what I was saying, so I started doing that. I had to move back. Everybody kind of moved, so the band kind of dissipated, and I moved down to Lexington because my wife is a doctor and she got into residency here. I didn't know a soul down here. And that was the way it was for like the first 6 months I lived here. Didn't meet anybody. Didn't know how to meet anybody because I was too old. I felt like in my own mind I was too old to meet anybody. Didn't want to be out at the bars and all that. And so I got the idea that, well, maybe I should try to leverage music. And I got that every Monday at the Owl's Bar. I messaged quite a few bars, and they were the ones that said, yeah, we'd like to have it. And I wanted to do a showcase, you know, musician showcase.
Did you set that up solely so you could meet more people?
You know, that was a big motivation of it. I mean, that probably was my main motivation, was that if I can be the guy, if I can be the host, and people are reaching out to me, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to meet them than if I'm trying to, hey, what's your name? I'm Zeb, you know, like, and so if I figured if I had that, it would help me, meet people, and it really did do that. It did that because you meet a few people through that, and next thing you know, you've got, you've got other people, you've got their friends, and you've got other friends, and you start building a network. So that was the key for me to actually meet anybody in Lexington was doing that showcase. So, and that's about where I'm at. And then, since then, it's just been, the people that I met through that, and then their friends. You meet the network, and now I've got a band. It's just the kind of the best of the best for the type of music I do. I've asked them, hey, do you want to start playing with me? And then I started reaching out to bars and getting gigs, and now it's just been a snowball effect, really. Because I got about 8 guys now that are jumping in and out as part of the Kentucky Hi-Heads.
Really?
Not at one time. We can't have 8 on stage, but I've got like 4 guitar players. I got 2 bass players, 2 drummers.
Dang.
So it's like I've got plenty of guys now, and it's just amazing to me that I hate to say it that way, but I came down here and didn't know a soul, and now I'm like have a band that's playing like just about every weekend, and I've had people say like, man, I've had people literally say, like, you're the nucleus around here. Like, everybody knows Zeb. Like, I'll meet people and they say, do you know Zeb? And I'm like, I'm surprised to hear that, but I've had multiple people say that to me. So I'm just really, I guess, proud of myself, and also, but just proud to be in an environment that allowed that to happen. That I got to meet people that want to share their friends and want to share their, opportunities for performing and things like that. So I feel very fortunate about that, really. Lexington's a great place to get your foot in the door as a musician, I think.
I definitely think it's been a good starting point for what we do, because I feel like if you do have especially if you're heavily country or have a little bit of that in you, it's definitely a good place to certainly start, but also build. Yeah. And then I feel like with us, it's going to be a good place to start, but we're building other places. Yeah,
I think you guys are doing it right from what we've talked, and unfortunately I don't see you guys as much as I'd like to, but just catching up with you when I do, it sounds like you guys are really trying to take it to the next level, doing stuff like this podcast and thinking about marketing and thinking about having somebody helping you book. I haven't done any of that. I just sort of, maybe I'll drop $20 on Facebook to try to get my band page to pop up in people's feeds or whatever, or some post I did, I do all the calls, I do all the emails, I do all the Facebook, I do everything. Like, it's a lot, it is a lot, and I know that I could have probably bigger success if I had somebody that knew what they were doing that. So I think it's great that you guys are going that route, because both of you guys are really incredible. some of the best talents in the town,
that.
really. I mean, as far as pure musician and showmanship goes, I mean, you guys are great. So
Really appreciate
I
that.
think you should do
Thank
that.
you.
I think you should continue to do that.
Yeah.
So
That's definitely something that we're looking into, and I feel like, at least from what I know, what I've seen, it's like you have to figure out how to do everything a little, and then from there you can start getting people to take over different positions. So you gotta know how to book before you can get somebody to book for you, or you gotta know how to make a little money before you have someone oversee it.
yeah,
Or you gotta know how to just like, as far as just like being a musician, the music goes, like putting together a band is a lot easier when you kind of know how to dabble in, all realms of the music. You can kind of guide a band a little bit better. But that seems to be the like the common thread that I see is like know a lot about a little and then start branching out and giving those pieces out to other people. That way like if they're doing a good job, you can kind of oversee and kind of see if they are as in like booking.
yeah. So
or
you don't
anything
get
like that.
taken for a run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also spending enough time on your craft to where like you're not becoming a booking agent, you're still an artist.
No,
but
I
you
agree,
know if
man.
they're doing the right job.
It's kind of stressful, like.
Mhm.
But it's just you can't take it, like, this is a big thing for me, like, I would get a little bummed, like, when I didn't hear back from certain bars or something like that. You just gotta let it roll off your shoulder, it's just the way it is. You always have to remember there's a lot of talented people, we're not alone, you're not alone, I'm not alone. There's a lot of people wanting to bring their outfit into these places, and, it's just a matter of getting some traction, I think, and having your name. The more it's out there and the more that, we were talking before the podcast here, but like, even if you're playing for, just a few people, you don't know who one of them few people are.
You never know.
And you don't know what it's going to lead to. And
you never know if it's going to be Zeb or if it's going to be Dr. South.
Right. But no, I mean, you just don't know. So you have to just, take it with a grain of salt. If you don't hear back from somebody, try them again in a few months. If you play somewhere and you don't have the crowd that you'd like to have, you still give it 100% because you don't know who they're going to be.
Exactly.
And you don't know who might walk up there with a $1,500 bill and throw it in your case.
Yeah,
too. You just don't know. So I try to lay it all out online, no matter who's there, and we do the same set list pretty much no matter who's there, whether there's 100 people or whether there's 10. I think you got to keep that attitude, and I think it does help, like you were talking about. If we're not there yet, I'm not there yet, but maybe someday if things keep going well, maybe I'll have somebody to do the booking, so I don't have to worry about that. But for now, I got to keep grinding, at the moment. So.
And I feel like right now, especially like with you, and like how it does have some country or like some classic to it, like it can really build in this area, and I could see you getting someone doing that kind of stuff for you fairly easily.
I mean, it would be nice. I haven't tried yet. I haven't thought about it right now. Like I say, I'm booked up, man. Like I'm booked up till August 1st, basically, and then I build in about a month and a half off because Kyle Fields. I mean, you guys know Kyle, a great country music singer. He's down in Nashville, but he's also a good friend and songwriting partner of mine. We are doing a little tour out west. We're going out to Wyoming and going out to Missouri, going out to New Mexico, and just doing a big road trip. And he's got a few, just not a ton of gigs, but a few gigs booked along the way. We just wanted to take a trip. But he said if I'm going to be able to afford it, we have to play some gigs while we're on the road. That's that type of deal. But I'm excited about doing those gigs, Laramie, Wyoming, and places like that. So,
that sounds really
so yeah, we're gonna do a little small thing, and then I've already got a few things set up for September when we come back, in October even got a show in November now at the Twisted Cork for Thanksgiving weekend. So I mean, right now I feel like I'm kind of handling my own with the stable of bars and stuff that we've played at. I feel like if I can just make sure I rebook every time we play it in these next few weeks as we come up and rebook it for September, October, we should have a lot of stuff to come back to already. But ultimately my goal is with it is just to be able to sort of maybe cut out some of the places that you aren't playing for as many people, and try to just get more places where you're playing for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying, and maybe do less shows overall, but have them be more bang for the buck, so to speak. I mean, we had a great time at the Saylor, for example. That's a great place to play here locally. We've got a show at Mirror Twin coming up in July, which I think is going to be incredible. Places at that caliber, so that's the next goal, next move is to just sort of maybe, you know, the places that are paying $100 or two, like,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you guys for the opportunity, but now I've got more gigs at places that are paying 5 and 6 and stuff like that. You know, so that's kind of where we're at now. It's not so much a lack of gigs; it's just okay, we did those, and now let's see what kind of bigger places we can do from here on out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that about the country and the classic. I mean, that's definitely what I'm going for, is like a classic type of sound, a sound that appeals to maybe not college kids, but maybe like, you know, late 30s into the older and into the older crowd. Those people, you know, they want to hear some good music too, you know, and it's the type of music that I grew up with. My mom always had an oldie station on. My dad was big into classic country. And that's just kind of where my roots are at, you know.
Yeah.
But I love all kinds. I love your guys' style. You're not exactly country, but it's like, it's just good, you know. Music is good, but my voice is cut out for what it's cut out for. Which is like, you know, basically country or non-country, and try to make it sound a little country, basically. Yeah. And people seem to like it, so I'll keep on rocking with it for now, anyway. Until I have to do a retool of my style. No, I'm just kidding about that. Yeah, I gotta switch to hip hop soon. Be the new Eminem.
Be the new Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. There you go.
Yeah.
They call me ZRX or something like that.
Mr. South.
Yeah. Well, I have to think of a good hip hop name for me. Something with Big Job in it.
The Big Job South.
We'll have to put some thought into that.
Okay. And Cody, you should play around.
Puff Big Job or something like that, you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Something like that. Daddy. Big Job Daddy.
He's got that daddy in it too.
Yeah. There we go.
We'll do like a random name generator and we'll find something.
Yeah, I bet we can find something on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, we'll run like a poll or something.
Yeah, do that. Have your listeners decide a hip-hop name for me.
Okay.
That'd be good.
In the comments below.
It's on you guys.
The comments
below, please.
Hip-hop name.
Pick me a good one. I might actually use it, though, for real.
Hip-hop name. Maybe so. But Cody, you used to play around in Hazard a lot. Tell us about that.
I actually never played in Hazard, funny enough. I grew up there, but I played mostly in Prestonsburg.
Did you even play at the schools or anything? Or tell us a little about your music background. Let's hear it.
I mean,
what were you doing before we met?
Alright, before we met. Okay, so I was in a band in high school. Because the high school I went to, we didn't have like a pep band or anything, so we just started a band. So we were just like a rock band that played all the like basketball games and stuff. And then we just expanded that. I played in that for probably like 4 or 5 years, and then after we graduated, we broke up, and then I started playing a lot solo. I was doing a lot of like Americana type stuff down like Prestonsburg, Pikeville, and then when I was 18, I moved to Winchester. And then about 2 weeks after I moved, I met Wesley. And then, that's kind of it. I was just in a band, and I was doing a lot of solo stuff, playing a lot of bars.
Yeah, you guys are tight. I mean, I'm not the interviewer, so to speak. I know I'm here to be the interviewee, but I'd like to just hear how you guys got to be so tight. Because the first time I met you, I met him, and I don't think I've ever seen either one of you without the other one.
Yeah.
You guys are like I know you guys are buddies, but how'd you guys get so tight, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So we met randomly at a Kroger the first time, because my uncle manages a Kroger, and he set up an open mic at the Kroger that he manages in Georgetown, which is super random. But I think I was maybe 18 or 19, and right after high school, I was kind of gigging out. I was still going to BCTC, because I got into a lot of the colleges that I applied to, but I wasn't too keen on spending money if I didn't know what I was doing it for, which I'm still the exact same way. I love investing, but I don't like doing it unless I know that it just makes sense for what I want to do in the future. But went to the Kroger, played the open mic. I was still developing my skills, but Cody was up there banging it out. And I'm the type of guy that I'm the nucleus. So I reach out to everyone in my life. I've selected them, because a lot of people don't realize that if you're just waiting around for friends, or waiting around for jobs, or waiting around for gigs, like if you're just waiting around, you're not going to go out and get it. But there's a weird thing with the human psyche that like we're always wanting to be selected. because it shows importance. It shows, oh, this person came out of his way to select me. I must be special.
It's called ego.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. And so like, there's almost kind of like, and there's a big thing in like the movie culture where it's like, we're just like stories that are told in general, like, he was chosen by God, or he was chosen by, you know, the head boss of Sony or whatever. Like, there's always like this mythical prophecy of someone being chosen. So I think it's also kind of ingrained into us to like want to be chosen by a group or something. So I've always kind of noticed that a little early, and you usually never see a movie where it's like, unless it's like Rocky, where it's like someone that's just like, they work really hard and they make it. Like, it's usually like they worked really hard and they made it, but then you find out like, oh, that person was chosen, it was his destiny to do it. So it's never like an emphasis on working really hard, because like we always want to think that we are chosen, when really it's like, fuck that, just go out and do it, stop being a bitch.
Grind.
But coming up, I always kind of noticed like, if I don't reach out to these people, they're not going to reach back. And maybe it could even be friends or gigs or band members or whatever, but I was just like, I want this person in my life. They don't see what I can offer them yet, but they're going to find out because I know who I am. And so then whether it was Cody, whether it's my producer, whether it was even like Justin Radcliffe, or just anybody like I was meeting, like I was usually the one walking up and talking to them, because like I was like, I'm not going to wait for them to talk to me. Like, and
Yeah,
so,
I mean, but that's how you gotta get over. Like, you know, I think there's a pride thing. Like, I don't want to be the first to reach it, but you gotta get over that, because, like you say, if you're waiting around, you're just gonna keep waiting. You know,
and then you
might have your pride intact, but you didn't get what you were looking for because you didn't want to be the one to reach out. So yeah, I'm always reaching out. I get that. I'm with you on that.
And
I still don't know how you guys are such type boys. I'd like to hear the rest of that.
Oh yeah, so
that
was my reasoning on why I was approaching Cody, was because like I just know that like I see talent and I want to be around it. And so then I was already kind of good friends with Justin, because we had played at Crank and Boom a couple times. And so then after Justin kind of knew Cody, so then I went over to his house. We were jamming a little bit, and I think you even said, you were like, I don't really think Wesley is that good, like, but he works really hard. You said that before, right?
But yeah, I feel like when we first met, it was like, I was like, I feel like I see the tenacity, but he's just not like there yet. But like obviously the improvement over like the last few years has been like insane.
We've all gotten a little better, I'd like to think.
But yeah, because I knew Justin from this competition we used to do in Prestonsburg called the Road to Fame, and he was in it like all 3 years that I was in it, and then he moved here. So when I moved here, he's like the only person I knew.
I see.
So I was always hitting him up, being like, hey, where to play, like what's going on, and then like, and then I met Wesley at that thing at Kroger, and then I had put out a song and I put it up on my Instagram, and they both commented on it, and then they were both like, wait a second. They were like, oh, we all know the same guy. So then that's why they both came over, and
the rest is kind of history.
I feel like it kind of is, because I feel
you
like
guys started making a lot of music together.
Yeah, I feel like,
obviously.
at this point, we've known each other so long, I don't even remember, like, not.
Yeah.
It's kind of, we've just been doing it so long now.
Because I kind of,
you guys are brothers, man.
Because like we had met, started hanging out, and then I think the biggest thing was we made a decision a couple summers ago to quit our jobs and to just like gig out, which was a big learning experience as far as just like personal relationships go, personal ambitions, because it was the first time taking a step and we weren't making any money except for what we were doing. And so then there was tension on the money, there was tension on whose fault was what at times. There was just aggravated tension because somehow we were just fucking hungry, but we didn't have any guidance. So like there wasn't anyone telling us like, hey, like keep doing this, it'll get better. So then like we'd be like bickering with each other and stuff, and almost kind of like became brothers through that entire trip, because it's like friends, they might get mad at each other if they have an argument, but brothers, it's like it's gonna happen, you know it, and then you get over it. And so when we were like going through like those couple months of like just like I would say like that was like the real bonding, because like we had to rely on each other for scheduling, for booking. You know, if he books something, then I'm making money, so I'm excited. If I'm booking something, he's making money, so I'm excited. You know, if my release does good, he's making money, that's dope. His release does good, so like back and forth, like
you guys are a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because right now like we're not a duo It's just at the point that we're at, it's just like two good friends that are ambitious, that know that it's easier to team up, but we both know that like our visions of our future is like, I'm an artist as Wesley Saylor, and then he's an artist as Cody Morgan.
Yeah.
You know,
I've actually made the mistake of kind of thinking you guys are a duo, because I mean, just because I always see you guys together, you jam out together.
I get that.
But yeah, I was like, so I'm like, well, they don't have a name for their duo, so maybe they're really not a duo.
Yeah.
They just like to jam.
Yeah, because on Spotify, I'm still Wesley Saylor with 11,000 monthly listeners. He's still Cody Morgan with 11, 12, or 13, whatever he's got. And so, and we're still getting it done. It's just hard to keep people around that understand each other's visions, but also believe in each other, but then also push each other. And then people that like, you know, if I'm booking somewhere, I'm gonna call him and be like, yo, like I just booked for this amount, go and try and get that the same amount. Or if there is something that requires like a duo, like we might do it, but you know, he's getting a band together and out my loop pedal. So it's like we're just really just helping each other out.
Yeah, well that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys can still be good buddies, but still also pursue your, you know, individual music aspirations, and like some of it together. You know, like there'll be plenty of times where they want a duo or something, and you guys are totally capable of doing that.
Yeah, of course.
But when it comes to recordings and different things, and your online presence and stuff, you do your own thing. You know, which is probably good. You know, that's probably the right thing, because you guys aren't exactly the same music style. I mean, I don't think you're a little bit more. I think of you, I think like almost Bieberish in a way, like kind of that pop sound, and you got the more, like you said, Americana and rock, kind of harder.
I feel like at this point it's like,
maybe Americana is not the right word.
Yeah,
rock.
I think
of you, I think of rock.
There's a little more rock in there, but I feel like I'm definitely leaning more toward pop the more that I.
But
maybe
also,
I haven't heard your stuff,
your
recent stuff.
Everything that's been presented so far.
Yeah,
so behind the scenes, he's becoming more pop.
Yeah. Okay.
But everything that's presented is totally what you're saying.
Yeah, I think of like a shredding the guitar and like rock and just like throwing it down.
Definitely got a lot of rock influence in there for sure.
But I think of you, I think of like a smooth, like stuff that'll make the girls' panties drop. You know what I'm talking about. Which is not exactly what my music does. Maybe grandma's panties.
Yeah. Those britches coming.
I haven't had any bras thrown on stage just yet. We'll see. Give it time.
I had to think if I had some. But we played somewhere in Hazard, and this lady was yelling her address.
She gave us her address.
Hey,
she's like, come over later.
She's like, write me a letter.
We were scared. We were scared when we got out of there.
Yeah, she was like, write me a letter.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny. I played more in Hazard since I moved away than I ever played when I lived there.
That's crazy. Isn't it crazy that way? Well, it's like, you know, you're the small town boy going to the big city, and you know, big city being Lexington,
right?
And you know, now you're somebody, and you come back home, and it's sort of like a triumphant return type of deal. Maybe not. I don't know. That's the way I envision it. Like, you grew up there, and it's like, oh, that's just Cody. Then he goes away and starts doing stuff with music, and come back like, oh, that's Cody. Yeah, let's look at him. You know, that's.
I feel like it's definitely one of those things. Like anytime I've ever done anything where like I've been on TV or anything, it's like people I haven't talked to in like 10 years.
Yeah,
hey man, we friends, yeah.
Excuse me, can I hold $20 to play? You're getting the wrong one here.
Yeah.
So they don't know how poor we are as musicians. We get a couple bucks, but not much. Literally a couple a lot of times.
Especially at the bistro.
Yeah, especially at the bistro. That's right.
Yeah. Because with that, like I was confused on why I wasn't making any money, and then we started telling them like we're playing for tips.
It does help, doesn't it?
It helped a little bit.
Bit.
I think it probably because we were probably making $5 or $10 each time we played, and now we're probably making like 10 to 20 each time. So like it bumped it up a little bit. Yeah, we should be making.
We did a little bit better than that when I was there. Most of the time, I think the worst we ever did was about like. But you know, of course you guys were too. I usually have 2 or 3 guys with me. Well, 2 or 3 total, you know, including me. And I mean, there was one time we pulled like $150 in tips out of there. Another time we did like 125, but then most of the time it was usually something like 30, 25, 30, 40 was most of the time. And it's just like, yes, they give you the food, and yes, they give you, you know, the beers if you drink them, but like,
they actually don't give us drinks.
I don't know they would give us beer. I'd look at it the right way, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But they should. They should.
Well, yeah, because I tried to get, because we always get food, but then I was trying to get like a drink, I was trying to get a whiskey sour or something.
Well, that might have been why, because you were in liquor. That might have been why.
Yeah.
But for beers, they'd usually slip me a couple Bud Lights and stuff.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
But Yeah, it's a nice place and everything, but like, you know, I think it'd be a good time, since we're talking about the Bronte Bistro, like where you don't make hardly any money, but you know, you just told me before the podcast, you guys have an opportunity that arose out of there from somebody that saw you perform there.
Yeah.
And I actually had the same thing happen a couple of weeks ago. On one of our last nights there, I had a gentleman from Lex Live come up saying, "Hey, I'm the manager of the corner bar, and
Yep.
you guys are awesome. We'd like to, you know, we want to start doing music." And then I got a phone number out of that. So, yeah, you're not making a lot of money. And we've talked about this before the podcast. We'll say it on the air though, but you may not be making a lot of money at some of these gigs, and you may not be performing to a lot of people. But the thing is, you don't know who they are.
Right.
You don't know who's in the audience, and you don't know what opportunity it can present. So that's why I feel like you really have to just take every opportunity to play that you can, especially if you don't have a lot of gigs already. You just got to take whatever you can get because you don't know what's going to come out of it.
Right.
You don't know who's going to be watching you.
I remember one time when we were gigging out a lot that summer that we were talking about. We played at the Twisted Court, and wasn't it like John Michael Montgomery or somebody was there?
Yeah, they were in the back.
Yeah, they were in the back just chilling
Oh,
before everybody came in.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know, man. So it's and also, and I said it to you guys too, but also like, I just feel like every single time that I play on a mic, which I play, you know, 2-3 times a week, but I feel like every time I get just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I get just a little bit better because you say something that really hit, or you say something that didn't really hit. And I record my stuff on my tablet, you know, because I'm a cheater. I have my lyrics on my tablet. I got 200 songs, so, you know, give me a break, but I feel a little self-conscious about having my tablet for lyrics, but I do. And I also just record stuff on there, and it's just a rudimentary, you know, tablet recording, but it's good enough to hear what went right and what went wrong. And I always try to make the time to listen back to just about everything that I do. And I think that's helped me tremendously. It might be sound bad, might sound like I got a big ego. I like to hear my own voice, which I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do like to hear my own voice. But I actually prefer to hear myself talk in between songs because I'm a jokester. You know, I drop one-liners on the people and stuff, and I just like to listen back because I can tell. Sometimes you can tell in the moment what worked and what didn't, but sometimes you really can't until you listen back and say, "Oh, that doesn't sound good," and then I can avoid doing that and stuff. So the recording is a big thing that I like to do, but also just in general, even if you don't do that, just every time you play in front of people and every time you're in front of a mic, you're getting a little better. And even if you're not playing to that many people, you're getting better. And it's just going to make your next show that much better. That's how I feel. Anyway. So you should just take every opportunity to do it, you know?
And that's something I was thinking about doing that I want to start doing is recording my live performances. That way you can do exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, review.
Because I see it almost as kind of like what sports team doesn't look at footage?
Right.
They always look at what they did right and what they did wrong.
It's like film. It's like Monday morning, you know, after the game, you know, sit back here and listen back, listen to what went right, and there's a lot of this rewarding, you know, because like, fuck yeah, that sounded good, you know, like one of the boys like you're down a monster lead or something. I'm like, dude, we're fucking tight right now, and then other times it's like, ain't doing that song again, you know, like either way you're getting better because you know what's working and what's not working. So I do recommend any artist out there, it's not hard, use your phone, do something, use your tablet, just hit record before you do your first song, just hit record, and whenever you get done and you think about it, stop the recording. You can go in there and trim it and stuff if you want to save it. I don't even save them most of the time, I just listen back, you know, get rid of them because I just want to hear what happened, you know, that sort of thing.
What do you do for, because I know booking it can come from every angle, but how do you go about booking?
Most of the time what I did, now what I'm doing is mostly rebooking the places I've already got. But to get those places to begin with, it just depends on the place, man. If you ask me about a specific place, I can tell you, because like you said, it comes from every angle. But like, you know, Twisted Cork, for example, I used to hang out with Coleman, or I still hang out with Coleman. You know, so he got me in there. That's where I got into Twisted Cork. This horse and jockey gig, that's probably a pretty good story. I went in there, you guys are familiar with Brendan Drapes, the band, Irish band. Drape, he's been a good friend of mine. He's come and jam with me a lot and stuff, and he would come out and support any shows that I had a lot of times when he wasn't working. And their big thing, because they're Irish, is St. Patty's Day. They perform like 3 times on St. Patty's weekend. That's about the only time they perform all year, practically. So they were there, and I was hungover, dude. I didn't feel good, but he was playing. It was on Sunday at the Horse and Jockey Club for St. Patty's Day, and I just rode in there to support him. And the first thing, of course, they do is, Zab, you know, get up here. I'm like, no. I was like, no, dude. I just want to support you guys. He's like, I'm like, maybe later, you know. So like,
Right.
I stood there and I had a couple of beers, of course, while I was standing there, and then he's like, "You ready, Zim?" I'm like, all right, I get up there, and I got up and did a song, and it really hit. You know, I think I just did like Eagles or something like that, an Eagles song, and then they're like, and everyone was like, "Do one more, one more."
Yeah.
Brandon was like, "Do one more," and I was like, "All right," you know. So I did Mike Folsom Prison or something, and the minute I came off the stage, the owner came up and he's like, "Do you have a band?" And I was like, "I do have a band." And he's like, "You want to play in here on Thursdays?" And I was when they do Thursday Night Live, and I was like, it took me a second. I was like, "Yeah,
Of course.
yes, of course I
Of
did."
course,
And then that's how I got that. You know, like just showing up to support a friend.
yeah.
They got me up, and somebody liked what they heard. The owner of the place liked what they heard. So that's how that happened. Like, and a lot of them, most of them, I'd say would be fair. Is just I will see that other people have played at places, and I have a little running list. And I haven't even hit them all up yet, but when I see other people have played somewhere, I'm like, they do music, and I just put them on my list. And then as I needed places, I would start reaching out. And a lot of places never got back to me.
That's
I'm
how
not
it
going to
is.
mention names on that,
Yeah.
but some of them never got back to me. But enough places did to where I started building, you know, a schedule, you know, and I pride myself on saying that I've never played any place except for one place. I will say their name, Kennedy's Rick House.
Okay.
I've only ever played one place that didn't want us back.
Mm.
They didn't want us back. And it wasn't even our fault. They stuck us outside. It was during the pandemic where you can only really do stuff outside, and it was cold. And there was only like 4 people there. We still gave it our all, but I hit them up and they never wanted me back. But every other venue we've ever played at wants to rebook us.
Where were they located?
Up by the interstate on Broadway. Used to be the pool hall up there. What they call that place? Can't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, forget them.
Mm.
But I did take that a little bit personal because we went out there. I thought we put on a pretty good show, but and they stuck us outside. But what are you going to do? They also paid you $100 and made you pay for all your drinks. They actually wound up owing them money when I left, so kind of didn't really want to go back anyway.
Mm.
But no, every other place so that's the way I feel. Like all I have to do is convince a place to get our band in the door one time, and then we'll have a regular gig out of it. That's my level of confidence on it, because that's the way it's been going for us.
Right. Yeah.
So all I have to do is get in someplace, and now. So what I had to do that was do a lot of messages basically, and do a lot of networking and say, hey, you know, who did you hit up to get here? Who did you hit up to get there? And people would help me out, and that's how we got in. But now I truly feel like, you know, every time we play, there's people like, oh, I know the owner here. I do these festivals, and like now it sort of is starting to become a snowball effect, you know, because now we're out there so much that we're in front of a lot of people, and these people, a lot of them are musicians themselves, and they do gigs themselves, and they're like, you know, hey, I know so-and-so, I know such and such, and it's like, hey, hit me up, man, I'm always looking for a new place to play, you know, and that's kind of how it's going right now. But that's what I had to do. It was a major grind. I got to give a big shout out to Elkhorn Tavern. Actually, Elkhorn Tavern, man, I got to say that Levi from Elkhorn Tavern, he used to be the bartender at Owl's when we used to, remember Levi? He used to be the bartender at Owl's when we would do the Monday nights. He took on the managerial position at Elkhorn Tavern, and he actually hit me up and said, hey, I'm a manager up here now, would you want to perform here sometime? And up to then, I don't think I'd done any gigs in Lexington other than like the open mics.
So that kickstarted you.
So he kind of, yeah, and I was
Get a
like,
little spark.
and then I'm like, hey Trent, hey Carl, I just got asked to play a gig, we've got a date, you guys want to do this thing or what? And they knew most all my songs anyway, because we jam all the time.
Right.
And that's the way it happened. We went in there and we kicked some ass that first night at Elkhorn, and he wanted to book us back, and then I'm like, shit, dude. I was like, and he paid us a couple $100 and got us drunk. I was like, I think I could do this, you know. And then and that's kind of what kickstarted the idea that maybe I'm good enough to be able to do this. Like I still don't really have the confidence, and I say on stage just yesterday or the day before, I say I'm the worst musician on the stage. There's without a doubt I'm the worst musician on the stage, and you can't convince me otherwise, because these guys are incredible. I mean, you guys are really better musicians than me. Okay, I'm a bullshitter. I can talk, I can book, I can play rhythm guitar, I can sing okay, but I can't play lead. I don't do any of that stuff. Man, that's not my forte. That's why I have guys for that. You know, like I'm the worst. I'm always pretty much the worst musician on stage, and that's a fact. You know, but it's charisma. You know, I got a little bit of charisma, and I can say certain things to certain people and get them fired up and make sure they have a good time. My goal is to make sure that we have an entertaining show. Whether that's the music's just a part of that, you know. Part of that is the talking and meeting the people in between in the breaks and finding out what they're like. There was a bachelor party, and hollering at my bachelor party boys, and like, you know, making people feel like they're part of the show is what I think I'm pretty good at. probably the best at in my group, but I'm not the best musician in my group. Not even close, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, but definitely when it comes to like booking shows or getting opportunities, like I have this not really a quote, but almost kind of like a philosophy. Like you got to show up to the watering hole to get a drink.
Yeah.
So like if you're hanging around where like things happen,
Yeah.
like, things are gonna happen for you. So kind of like going out
Yeah.
to the gigs, you might get a gig by
Yeah.
going to a gig.
And I feel like we've
You know?
definitely like experienced that firsthand too.
Yeah, and you know that's a big thing for me too, is because like just in that example with the horse and jockey where I played
Yeah.
a couple songs with somebody else's set, one I'm getting a booking out of it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I think we bring. Everybody on my stage, everybody in my band, you hear from them before. We never have a break. There's never a set break. I don't know if you guys have been out to like a full hi-hat show. I know you've heard me play plenty, but if you come out to one of the shows, you'll see there's never a break.
Yeah,
We play about 8 to 10 songs as a band, and then I start working the members of the band up. And I say right there before we do that, I say you're gonna hear from Chuck, Trav, and Fox. I said every one of these guys can be in my seat right now doing what I'm talking to you. They're all incredible singer-songwriters, and I'm just lucky to have them playing the instruments that they're playing for me. But they can all do exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
And then I say, now why don't you get up here, Trent? And he'll come up and do 2 or 3. Why don't you get up here, Sam, do 2 or 3. Why don't you get up here? And then we come back as a band and do more. And then like if you boys ever pop down, I'll be like, hey, we got some special guests in. And that's how I roll. It's like a variety hour. So I'm all about providing that opportunity that I've been provided too, you know. And that's my thing. You come out to my show, you're going to get up and do at least one song, you know. That's just it. That goes for any of my musician friends. And sometimes I have to cut some songs out that I was planning on doing, but I'll be there again, you know, like.
Yeah.
So that's just how I roll, man, and it's just kind of a carryover from the Lexington Musician Showcase thing. Like, I want to promote others, you know what I'm saying? And also it helps me because it's not just me up there singing and then we go on break for 15 minutes and then come back. No, the people that are there get to hear a wide variety of styles and artists, and they're all great. I mean, they're all great people, you know? I mean, ultimately, I'm not worried about it because it says Zeb South and the Kentucky Hi-Hats, you know? They know who I am. I'm always going to be up there. I'm sort of the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to be a hothead. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to get up there and get the chance to do that. And you never know what might come out of that for them. You know, like they might say, hey, you want to come in here and do solos sometime? Or if Cody and Wes show up and blow away somebody, they might say, man, what do you guys do? Do you want to book here sometime? And I'm all for that.
Yeah.
That's not a threat to me. That would make me feel very happy. You know, that somebody was able to have a greater degree of success with what they're trying to do because of me, because of an opportunity I gave them, you know.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
And we've been meaning to make it out to one of yours. It's just we're always
You'll
playing
slip,
shows.
you'll slip out one of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days. Yeah, sadly your Thursdays is my Thursday, and I know
Exactly.
we're competing kind of, but
Yeah.
one of these days maybe it won't be like that, you know.
Yeah.
Any show you guys come out to. Sounds like maybe July 24th we might even get to have you out. That's a new thing. I don't know. Has Cody heard about that yet?
There's some of that on the way,
Yeah, I'm doing a music festival down at Long Shots in Nicholasville. There's some great people down there that own that place, and they were another one of the early places that got me a gig, you know. So I just feel like a debt of gratitude to them. We did a benefit for them when Ken, the owner, it's Ken and Christy that own it, but Ken had a stroke, and we had a show planned for down there at that time, and we just turned it into a benefit for them, you know, and told them to keep their money, and their other friends came out of the woodwork and did a bake sale and did donations and raffles and stuff, and we made them some money while Ken was down and stuff. So they're just great people, and we're going to do a flatbed trailer out in their back of their parking lot, right down like downtown Nicholasville, and we're going to do a music festival down there from 3 p.m. till closing time with a bunch of Justin Radcliffe, a bunch of artists. You know, I'll send you guys the flyer if you put your name on it. So we had a cancellation. I asked these guys today, you know, guys like, you guys want to do it? And they said, yeah, we'll do it.
Of course.
So it'll be another opportunity. You know, I love to be able to provide opportunities for others if I'm lucky enough to get the opportunity myself. You know.
And it seems like you like to do that because you understand that like you wouldn't be where you're at without those people that did that.
No, I wouldn't, and no, exactly. I mean, that really hits the nail on the head. I wouldn't. I was going to say something else on that, but I just think it's good. Like it helps me. You know what I'm saying? It helps me. It helps me with providing a better show if I get guests up, and also it helps me just it's like, man, you know, an owner of a bar or something, if I roll in with 10, 12 guys in my crew and they're all incredible musicians, it's like, this motherfucker's for real, you know, they're going to want me back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it helps you guys, it helps me, and everybody wins on the deal. You know, that's the way I look at it. So I wish everybody was like that. If I could, there's been times, and I'm not going to mention names on that either, that I've gone to see, this is before I was really doing my thing with the band, I'd go to see a friend who had a gig, and you know, they go on break, but they never invited me up to do one, even though they know that I play and stuff. And it's like, I think there's a sort of, certain folks have they feel threatened, not by me, but just by other artists in general. They wouldn't want to share that their time. They wouldn't want to share their moment in the sun. And I think that's the majority. And I've had people say to me, like, I've never seen anybody do it the way that you guys do it. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I hope everybody starts doing it this way, because it'd be better. It'd be a better experience if people were more like, get up here and do you one. People really aren't like that, but I'm like that, and I think that's one of my calling cards, and I'm very glad to be that way, you know. And I hope that people, if I do continue to have success and they see the way we do it, maybe they'll start doing it that way. Maybe there's like a little bit of a culture change where, hey, let's share this thing, you know. Let's share it. Let's share our moment in the sun, and everybody wins on that. That's how I feel.
And too, it's kind of like, I feel like it's almost like they don't understand why you're doing it, because like, or they don't understand why they would let someone up on a break, but it's like, it's better for the audience. You know what I mean?
Well, would you rather, I mean, yeah, exactly. Would a person, well, first off, you guys know when a band goes on break and music starts, that's, a lot of people are just waiting around for the music to stop so they can take off.
Yeah.
But if you tell them, hey, don't go anywhere, you're going to hear from this guy, they're more likely to sit there and stick around than they would if turn on some Spotify, you know, for 15, 20 minutes and there's like a lull. So it's everybody wins. The bar wins, the person that I get up there wins, and I win in the end, because we're bringing them better experience overall. So I think everybody really should do that. If you've got friends, for you musicians out there, if you've got friends that come out to support your shows, get them motherfuckers up there for a song or two.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And like, it just like makes sense logically. Like, you came to a show to see musicians play. Like, you don't want to see the musician just walk off, go to the bathroom, or walk off, go get some food for 15. Like, you still want to be watching something. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes sense logically. And then like, I get why pride would be involved. Like, it's my show, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I give a shit.
I get it, but I really wouldn't want to be that way, and I really don't want to be around anybody that feels that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not my type of person.
Yeah.
You know?
Because honestly, I haven't done that yet, only because I never take breaks.
Well, there you go.
But I think that's a great idea, just to incorporate people. Just
I mean, you know, of course, you know, if they're good. I mean, if they're good. But most everybody that we all run around with, I mean, we're all part of a big circle. You know, like you guys and me and all these other. I mean, there's tons of musicians. You guys know that. They're all pretty freaking good.
Yeah, all of our friends are good.
So if any of them shows up to support you, to me, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys do or whatever everybody else does, that's on them. But I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
If one of my people that I jam with that I know is an incredible artist comes to my show, they're going to be invited to at least do a song or two.
At least
it's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know.
So change the subject.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that for a while.
Do you believe in aliens?
You know what? I would have called you a kook a few years ago, but I've been seeing all this declassified stuff.
I'm telling you, man.
It's starting to sound for real.
That's some experience.
I haven't dug too deep into the new stuff, but I mean, dang, if they're declassifying and there's been things that are unexplained, I mean, there's got to be something going on.
I've seen some shit in my day, man. I've had some alien experiences.
Have you really?
I've seen some UFOs. Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
all right. Let me think here. So when I was a kid,
Well, let's take one step back.
all right.
So we don't know if they're UFOs, but it is an experience nonetheless.
Yes.
It was
But I feel
something
like
that happened, but you can't say it's.
Well,
like
it's
an alien-
UFOs.
You can't say it's an alien UFO though.
Okay. Can't say it's an alien UFO, but I mean UFO is anything that you don't know what it is.
It is by definition unidentified flying object.
although I just want to say, maybe you couldn't identify it, but I wonder if what I wonder about is the things that the Air Force and stuff can't identify.
Yeah.
That's all I always thought.
Sure.
If you're just a kid on the ground, like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe it was something that that was identified, you know. But I want to hear your story. I should have said
you.
that before you started, but
No, you're fine.
But I'm just saying, like,
I thought anytime you're like, oh, I've seen some shit, everybody's like, oh, of course you have, yeah.
Well, it's just, you know, we were bred to be skeptics on that sort of stuff.
I guess that's true.
Like, but look, no, I didn't mean to say that. But I mean, it's a legitimate point. Like, if you're a 10-year-old kid and you look up and you can't see, you see something like that doesn't look like a plane. What is that? You're just, you know. You gotta remember, you know, who you are at the time. You don't have a radar. You don't have
just a kooky alien.
Yeah, but let's hear about your unidentified sighting.
When I was a kid, I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, and my dad was like, "Come outside, I want to show you this thing in the sky. This is crazy." And we come out, and there was 2 giant lights in the sky, probably about the size of these ring lights.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like perspective wise, and they were just like really bright, and they moved like in tangent with each other. So like if one moved, the other one would move, kind of like that. Didn't make any sound.
How far apart?
Probably like a few hundred yards apart.
Wow. Okay.
But it didn't make any noise. But it was like
a few hundred yards.
It's like they were like super
like
far.
Football
They were like super
Couple
far
of
apart.
football
Yeah, it was
fields
like super far apart.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they moved in tangent. And then we were like trying to record it and shit. Then our phones would like shut off every time you tried to record it. I swear. And then it like went over the tops of the trees, and then the lights broke up into a bunch of tiny red lights, and they started like dancing like all through the sky. And we were like, "What the hell?" And I vaguely remember because I was like young.
Yeah.
So it's like it feels
Well, that
like it's
actually
not
does
super
sound
fresh,
very
but like it was super odd.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously I can't say it was aliens.
No, that sounds very
But I mean, like,
unidentified.
But your family saw it.
Yeah, everybody in my family saw it. My mom, my dad,
I'll be dang.
my grandma.
See, I feel bad for being a naysayer before I even heard your story. If I would have waited until after, I wouldn't have said that.
I saw
Yeah,
some
that
weird-
sounds legit.
I saw some weird shit one night when we were on our way back from a show. I don't know. I think we got caught in like a time warp. Something weird happened, man. We were playing Cincinnati, and we were coming back. It was probably like midnight, and there had been a wreck on the main highway. So the maps was like, oh, here's like an 8-minute faster route. So we're like, of course. So like, obviously we gained 8 minutes, but we lost like 3 hours because it took us 3 hours to get home. It should have only taken like an hour, 20 minutes. But we ended up on this like back road, no cell service, like didn't know where the hell we were. And it was just like a weird thing. Like we would drive for what felt like miles, and then you'd look and like a minute had gone by. And it's like, what the hell? And then I saw like a flash out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh, it's one of those like cell phone towers or whatever. But then we drove for probably like 20 more minutes. I saw it again. I was like, that's strange. And then I looked, and in the clouds, I could just see these orange lights like explode almost, like in the clouds. It was very strange. And I was like, oh, am I like hallucinating because I'm tired? I didn't want to tell Wes because I was like, if I tell him, he sees it right here in the middle of nowhere, I'll freak out. So I just put my hat down. And I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it. And then I looked up about 20 minutes later, and I could like still see it again.
Yep.
And then it was like 2 weeks before I told Wes what I saw. Because I was like, it was just such a weird experience. And he was like, well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Because we stopped at this like we stopped at this like McDonald's in the middle of nowhere, and Wes was like, I gotta get some sleep. He's like, I'm gonna fucking like kill us both if I don't. And so we stopped there. And Wes was like, keep watch out, let me know if anything like weird's going on. Like, yeah. And like we've probably been there 5 or 10 minutes. And a sheriff pulls up, starts banging on the door at the McDonald's. There's like dogs start barking everywhere, and like just strange. I was like, we gotta get the hell out of here.
So weird.
It was very weird.
Very weird night.
Very weird.
I just came back from the Outer Banks with my wife. We went out there, and just it has nothing to do with aliens.
Where's that at again? Where's that?
At North Carolina,
Okay.
all the way. Like you go to the coast, and then like there's a big sound, and then there's a string of islands, basically, the Outer Banks, you know, and then beautiful area. But just I'm not going to tell you about my vacation. I'm going to tell you about coming back. Well, a little background. I went to rent a car for that, and the cars have gotten expensive right now. And I couldn't find a car for the week. I think just because travel's picking back up after the pandemic, and they actually sold a lot of their fleet during the pandemic to try to stay afloat. So now there's a lack of cars, and there are more people wanting to use supply and demand. That's right. So anyway, I think I'm pretty clever on this one. So they wanted about $450 to rent the cheapest car, like a little subcompact shit. But they had these big ass delivery vans, like the Amazon delivery vans. For $188 for the week, and we rented. And I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna rent that." And we rented, and I threw a queen size bed in the back of it, and we camped for 3 nights.
Nice.
Car camped for 3 nights. One night in an abandoned office building, and one night in where did we do the other night? Well, I guess the one was a campground, a legit campground, and then the other one was a restaurant. And that's why I thought of the story when you were talking about how the police came when you guys passed out at McDonald's. Nobody came or anything, but in the morning, it was in Charleston, West Virginia. We were like you, it was like, man, we are only like 3 or 4 hours from home, but I'm tired, she's tired. I was like, we got the bed in the back, let's just pull over and sleep. And we did, like, we got up in the morning, it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I go out to kind of brush my teeth, and the manager of the restaurant sat there. He's like, you guys need to come in and use the bathroom or anything? He thought we were like homeless or something. I was like, no, we're good, man, we're just a couple hours from home. But we stayed in a restaurant parking lot there in Charleston, West Virginia. We didn't have the police come. I couldn't tell you. It was a local chain. Yeah. But it looked pretty abandoned. I was like, this will work. It's next door to a truck stop and stuff.
That's funny. You thought they were abandoned, and then they thought you were homeless.
Yeah. Actually, I thought the restaurant was out of business, but sure enough, it wasn't. So, but anyway, that just reminded me when you were talking about the.
I got you.
So we got lucky. We didn't have anybody come beat on the door or anything saying you need to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
But we did get offered to use the bathroom before they opened.
And you didn't get abducted by aliens. That's awesome.
We did not get abducted. No, not this time. I don't have any good alien stories. I've never had any close encounters. Ghosts. Closest thing I got. Well, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you a quick one. Right here in Lexington, they have a ghost tour that goes over by Transylvania University.
Okay.
And they're talking about just various like bad shit that happened. There was this one house where she was talking about that there was a slave that they had there, and that they say she still haunts the place or whatever. I can't tell you exactly what house it was, but I was on this tour and I took a picture. I took a picture of this house while she was talking about this, and I looked at the picture later. I swear to God, I could find the picture and show you guys. But if you zoom up into one of the corners, I swear there's like a image. It's like an image. It's not like a picture, but it's like an image of like, you can almost see her, like it really looks like an old slave lady in a rocking chair in the window.
Wow.
I can show you this picture that I'm talking about. That was something weird. I was like, I swear it is. And I was like, maybe. And I'm like, no, I see it clear as day that's like an Aunt Jemima type of figure, like sitting in there. So that was one thing that was really weird.
And the cool thing about that is, like, I know you're not a bullshitter, so I know you're not looking for ghosts.
No. I saw, as soon as I scrolled that picture, I was like, that is a person, you know?
Yeah.
And it just looked like, it was seriously like a ghost image. And then the other little story would be, and I didn't actually have anything happen, but when I lived in Columbus, I actually lived in Dayton. I was working in Columbus, and I rented a room off of a friend of a friend deal, and it was this like castle. I swear to God, in downtown Columbus, there was like a legit castle.
Is it kind of like the Versailles Castle? Or?
Not that big.
Okay, but it's still a castle.
Along those lines, it's like a castle. It's called the Castle, and it's right in German Village in Columbus, like downtown. It was built in the 1850s or something, and eventually it came into ownership of people that I knew. But long before that, some German guy built it for a woman and stuff like this. I mean, it's humongous. It's got a tower and everything. And on one side of it, the people that owned it lived in one side. Their stuff was basically just empty. It was just rooms, just empty rooms, and they had used it as a boarding house at one time. They'd been Ohio's first maternity hospital that they'd used it for one time in history. And I was reading, and it was supposedly haunted. And I found that after I agreed to stay there, and I kind of moved my stuff into the room. As soon as I read that, I could send you the article on that too. It's called Schwartz Castle.
How much was it to get a room there?
Well, because of native people, they only charged me like $200 a month, and I was only there like 1 or 2 nights a week because I was just there for work.
Okay.
But every time I was there, after I figured out that it was haunted, dude, I was like, I couldn't hardly sleep because I'd hear shit. But I never got abducted or anything weird happened, but I would hear noises and stuff in there. And I read in that article about the place being supposedly haunted that there had been a couple of murders that had happened there. There had been a couple suicides that had happened there. And of course, it was a maternity hospital, so I'm sure a lot of babies had died and stuff there. And it was a freaky kind of place.
Is it still up?
It's still, it's still there. You can go down there. It's in the corner of 3rd and something in German Village in Columbus. Oh, I'll send you the thing on it. There's a link out there. Somebody wrote this article about how haunted it was. As a matter of fact, sometimes there would be ghost tours that would come, and I would look out the window, and there would be like a group of people on a ghost tour, and they'd be talking about the building that I'm in. So it was weird shit.
They look up and like, there's a ghost.
There's a ghost. Oh,
well, actually, you know, one time they did it, and I like flash the lights or something. I like flash them.
They fucking freaked out.
Give them a show.
Yeah.
But
it
was weird, man. But no, I haven't had any straight up encounters with ghosts that I would absolutely call paranormal. I have not.
Daniel did. Daniel came. He got a couple.
I don't know if I know Daniel.
You know Daniel?
I don't know if I know Daniel.
You probably bump into him here later, but he's a musician in Lexington, and he's had some ghost stories. He's had some nice ghost stories.
Really?
Yeah.
I grew up in a haunted house, so
So you have some ghost stories then?
I got a lot actually.
Oh Lord.
Let's hear one.
Yeah. That's your one.
There's just like a lot of weird shit that would happen. Like, I don't know, like ceiling fans would be going, they'd stop, go backwards.
Oh.
Like, pillows would move across like couches. One time I was a kid, electricity went out and we had like candles lit, and I was sitting on the couch. My mom's on like, we had like a couch and a low seat. I'm sitting on a low seat, she's sitting on the couch. And like a shadow figure gets up and walks out of the room, and the candle, I can see him like in the candlelight.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that, like doors open and close, but they're locked when you go and check on them, stuff like that.
That stuff freaked me out.
Yeah, it must be radioactive or something, man.
I know.
UFOs, ghosts.
Well, but you think about it though, it's like there's not hardly anybody there. Like a lot of just like empty land and like mountains and stuff. It's like the government's like testing out some alien shit. It's like that's a perfect place to do it. And then as far as like ghosts, like that whole area is just full of murder. So it's kind of like I'm not surprised.
A lot of times it's one family against the other, isn't it, over in that neck of the woods? Or is
I mean,
that
there's
further
really some
east
of those
than you
places like
Yeah, Cody killed 3 families.
yeah, by myself. Like literally, like the county next to us is literally called Bloody Breathitt because there's so much murder.
Yeah, Breathitt, yeah, that's
It's
what I was
like-
thinking of. And also, of course, over there in the Pikeville region with the Hatfields and McCoys and stuff
Yeah,
too,
and then
like
you
that
got
whole
Harlan.
region over
Like
there.
Harlan's supposed to be really bad,
Mm.
but
It's
yeah,
just hard to believe in the 21st century that like that one family would. It probably doesn't happen like it used to, but I imagine there's still like I asked a guy. Matter of fact, the guy that works the door at the Horse and Jockey, he's a big dude. He's from Jackson, which is Breathitt County.
yeah.
I was like, so I read about Bloody Breathitt and stuff. He's like, I was like, it's still like that. Like, did you see somebody from another? I was like, yeah. Like
It's pretty
apparently
rough.
it's still like a thing.
like that.
those
Leslie County,
fuckers,
like I mean,
so-and-sos,
fuck
you
them
know?
motherfuckers.
people
Yeah.
go missing all the time and shit. In that
It's
area.
crazy, man. It's just hard to believe. I mean, it's an isolated area, but just like the internet and everything's so prevalent now, it's hard to believe that any of that shit could still really be going down.
My
you
mom
know?
had like a few family members that got killed when she was like young. A couple cousins. Like one of them got somebody pushed him off a bridge,
Wow.
like a big high. It's like a 200-foot bridge. It goes over like a lake. And then one of them got like they like beat him to death and they like left him on his parents' porch.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Whoa, fuck.
yeah,
It's intense.
yeah. They had like
disgusting.
yeah, they like beat him like they had rope burns, but they like drug him behind a car like with a
Killed
rope. Yeah, they killed him. Yeah,
Shit, man.
left him on the porch.
What the
And he
fuck?
literally,
What?
I don't remember. I don't know if he like gotten caught up in some bad shit, but he literally told him. He like mentioned to somebody my mom was saying. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like be around much longer." And he was like really scared. And then like it was like 2-3 days later he showed up dead.
Wow.
That's absolutely disgusting.
And did they ever find out who it
No.
was?
The cops are
Is that
really,
small town
cops
shit?
are really corrupt.
Is that small town shit?
Literally, my grandma used to live in an apartment in the middle of town, and you could sit. She lived on like the 3rd floor, and you could watch cops on the top floor of the parking structure. You could like go back to her house.
Wow.
And it was like crazy shit.
That
man.
reminds me of Relay, you know?
Super corrupt to be so small.
It reminds me of Relay, you know? The night the lights went out in Georgia, and the
It really-
and the
yeah,
sheriff in the town's got blood stains on his hand.
Yep, some shit like that for real.
Yeah. Jeez.
Crazy place.
But what else do you guys want to know?
That's
I wanna take a quick tangent and talk about your hat because it does say biscuits and corn.
Oh, hey, also from the Outer Banks. That is from Outer Banks there. Yeah, there was
Oh,
a.
yeah.
Well, okay, this one I got to give a shout back to Dr. Chris Bingman again, our practicing OB-GYN. He is a biscuit fanatic. I mean, you talk
Biscuits are
about
great.
biscuits and gravy specifically, but like
Okay.
he's like that's one of his Dr. Chris pass the biscuits Bingman, like that's his thing.
Mhm.
There was a time when his Facebook profile picture was a plate of biscuits and gravy. I'm serious, like in Cracker Barrel, like he's a man of like he's like an onion. He's a man of many layers, but one of them is
Yeah.
biscuits, and so and also porn. But that was more of a joke. But like I was driving down there and I literally just saw this gas. It looked like a gas station. It said biscuits and porn, and I was like, what? I said I got to stop in here and take a picture of this place to send to Banger and them. And when I went in, they had all kinds of like gear. So I was like, okay, well, I went in there and dropped like $125. Some porn gear. I got him a shirt. I got another shirt. I got me a shirt. I got me a hat. I was like, just biscuits and porn is perfect. It's perfect. But it's all because of Bingman. If it wasn't for Bingman, I wouldn't have ever even noticed the place. because we're always talking about biscuits and gravy, biscuits this, Cracker Barrel that. So I just figured he would get a kick out of a picture of a place that said biscuits and porn.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, get me a sticker," and then I went in there to get the sticker. I had to get the hat. I had to get a T-shirt. I loaded up on the memorabilia from there.
Did you talk to anybody that worked there and be like, why does it say biscuits and porn?
I didn't ask that question, but they did have a. But you know, I think the biscuits and porn thing was a little bit of a misnomer because they did have a rack of like skin mags and stuff, but like. It wasn't like a porn store. It wasn't like a Lion's Den type of shit. It was like a gas station with a kitchen that had biscuits, obviously, which were good. I had a biscuit, and then it was just a gas station, like a Speedway or something. But they did have like a row of like Playboy and Penthouse and stuff. Yeah. I'm like the porn thing is a bit of a misnomer because you don't have any more porn than any other place has.
I mean, you think about it, that's some good marketing. You're driving down the road, you see biscuits and porn, and you're like, oh shit.
Oh, I love it. I love this. It's my new favorite hat. I wear this everywhere now. Biscuits and porn.
Shout out biscuits and porn.
Yeah, shout out down there in North Carolina. Come on, raise up. You guys remember that song, that rap song? It was North Carolina, come on and raise up. Take your shirt up, wave it around your head like a helicopter.
Who's your
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay.
See, back in my Army day, when I was a youth of 2019, and we go to the clubs and like everybody else, go grind on girls and stuff. That was one of the songs they played at the club a lot. North Carolina.
Is that part of your set list?
No.
Will it ever be?
It's just I doubt it.
Okay.
It's just something I can bust out of.
You should just really make it a variety show and you're just country, and then like the last like 5 songs, it's just a full hip hop set. Just
you know what? We have the ability. We played a private farm party on Saturday, a private birthday party, and Trent figured out how we could turn my new equipment into a karaoke unit.
Oh, yeah.
As long as I have Wi-Fi, because my tablet connects to the tower speakers that I bought. So yeah, we can actually just YouTube karaoke versions of stuff, which was great actually, because we played for like 4 hours out there, and I felt like they might have were starting to get tired of live music, because I was getting tired of playing it too. And
about how long was this in?
Oh, I mean, we got out there like 6 o'clock. We're talking about 12:31 a.m. now when all this is going down. We've been playing for like probably 5 hours. And Trent's like, I think we can do karaoke. I was like, does anybody out here want to do karaoke? And he was like, yeah. So he rigged it all up, and then we had karaoke for the last couple hours, and the people that were out there come up and did some drunken karaoke. So it was pretty sweet. So I say that because we probably could do what you're talking about then. We probably could just drop some tracks, over the mixer and stuff.
You got to spit some bars.
Lottie Dottie, we likes to party. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg and shit.
I want to see your live setup. I want to see all the equipment you have.
It's really not much right now. I've got the two speakers, and I actually got a great deal on those the tower speakers, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's got like a bass and it goes up.
Yeah, I got 2 of those for the price of 1, basically, at Guitar Center a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago. Got 2 of them for like, I think about $900, which usually they go for like about that a piece. So I got a really good deal on those. And then I've just got this Behringer Air mixer that Trent's my drummer, by the way, and my sound guy. Yep. And my buddy. He's like my Wes to my Cody type of thing for now anyway, because he's just always available to hang out if I need, or help me out with something.
Right.
He's a great guy, but he got me on this, and now so we have a mixer like you have, still have it actually,
right.
But we got this thing that's 18 channels with gain, and it's all done through your phone. Your mixing and stuff is done through your phone, which is cool if you know how to use it, which I don't yet, which I'm hoping to get that figured out, because so we got that, the 2 tower speakers, and then just my old JBL powered speaker as a monitor, and it fucking blow you out, man.
Awesome.
I mean, it's loud enough. We played like a big wide open outdoor area at that farm, and you could hear it a football field away. I mean, and what Trent's talking about doing is actually taking my stuff. He knows a lot more about sound and stuff than I do. He's talking about me getting me a box, having a box. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, because of rack mount stuff. Do you know much about that? I really don't. But
I don't think so.
He's saying basically I can get a box, put my mixer in it, put like the bass preamp in it, put everything I need in it, and have it all pre-connected, so that all I basically get some wireless mics. So basically all I have to do is show up, plug this box in that's like 80 pounds. He said it'd probably be like 60 to 80 pounds. Bring it in, set it down, plug it in, flip a couple switches, and set up the mic stands, and I'm pretty much ready to go. Because right now it's a pain with the whole band. It's a pain doing the sound for it and running all the chords and everything. And it takes every bit of 45 minutes to get set up for a gig, which it's worth the price of admission, if you know what I mean. It's worth it to get to jam, but it is a pain in the ass, especially setting up. Breaking down is not quite as bad because you're just putting everything back in the bag, but setting up, it's a chore, man. It's a chore. So he's got me convinced that if I make it, spend some more money, of course, spend some more money and upgrade a little bit, that I can make life a lot easier when it comes to setting up and breaking down. So we're still working that out, but it's all steps. It's all steps. So the more money I make from playing, the more that I've got that I feel comfortable spending on getting better stuff to make playing in the future easier. And I do think that I'm in a position to probably be able to do this for at least a few years. I mean, and live a dream. Like, it really is a dream to me to be able to do this. So I know it's your guys' dream too, but my aspirations have already been met. I know you guys are trying to take it to the next level, and I respect that and support that. But my dreams was always just to be able to just do gigs around town. Just do gigs around town, have my name maybe kind of known by people. If they're looking for a band, say, oh, you gotta get Zeb and his crew out there. They'll put on a good show for you guys. That's kind of all I really want. I'm married. I got a woman. I mean, I got a house. Like, I'm not gonna tour the country. I'm not gonna do Spotify specials or Tiny Desk concert. That's not my goals in music. I'm already living my goal in music. I just want to now see how far we can go with that, and basically just be playing the best, like I told you earlier, playing the best places and playing them like whenever I want to. That's my big goal, So if I'm going to continue to do that, I feel like it's worth it to invest the money to make that easier to do and make it better, So Trent's convinced me. I think here in the next few days we're going to probably buy that box that he's been talking about, and he's going to help me like set it up so that when he's gone, unfortunately he's leaving at the end of July to go back to Atlanta, where he's from, to just get on with his life and get his career going and stuff like that. So he's been my main helper, and I'm going to have to pretty much do it on my own when he's gone. So he's going to try to help me, set me up for success for that. For when he's gone, then it'll be easy for me to, do the stuff that he's been doing for me, more or less. So God bless him for taking the time and effort to do that and help me out, even when he's not going to be here. So if you watch this, appreciate you, bro.
Trent, I love you.
Trent love.
Shout out Trent.
Well, Trent the Traveling Fox Nelson.
Yeah.
He's the man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that's from what I know, it's like all of his buddies and friends are up here, so it's like
he's gonna be a hard. I bet you. This will be recorded for posterity's sake, but I bet you he might stick around for a little bit longer. Because he's probably not gonna be loving life when he goes back and with all his crew that he's got up here and all these gigs he's got used to doing with me and stuff, and he's gonna go back and just try to get in the grind and look for a job and stuff. But I told him, I said I think that's the best thing for him, just because he doesn't have a whole lot going on right now as far as a career and stuff goes, and I think that he needs to get that stuff going for himself, just for his finances and just for kind of moving on to the next chapter of life. And I think he knows he's got to do it, but we will miss him. We'll miss him a lot when he goes, and his drumming and his sound expertise for sure, and just his companionship and being a good buddy. So, but I told him we'll come down and see him pretty often. It's not that far to Atlanta.
No.
So we'll swing down and see him, and he'll swing back up here for big shows that we get. He can come up and do some guest drumming and stuff. So we're not saying goodbye forever to Trent, but he probably does need to go back and kind of get shit going for himself.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do some stuff in Atlanta. We're definitely, because we're thinking about branching out as far as like live shows go, because I mean, I have people that listen to me and follow me all over the world, but it's like, as far as like playing out, expanding those horizons, and essentially doing what we're all doing here in Lexington.
But doing it in a bigger city. See, I think you would be served well, especially you with the type that you're doing. I think you would be served well to try to, not necessarily move, I'm not saying move away, but like, to try to get into some bigger, maybe even Louisville and places like that, or like in Atlanta and Nashville, places where you just have a bigger audience, a bigger set of ears to hear what you do, and I think it's great that you've done such a good job of getting all the followers and stuff, and the listeners that you guys have. I don't have any of that going on, so that's great that you guys have been able to cultivate that. And but I wonder, just like, what you ultimately need if you're going to do gigs, you got to have an audience that's there. You know what I mean? I know you can make a little money and stuff off of your streams and everything, and that's great. But how do you go about translate that into your live performances?
Exactly.
You know, it's like you can tell a place, well, I've got 12,000 followers or whatever, but they're like, how many's going to come to the show?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
the problem, you know. I think, but I think it's great to have that still. I mean, have a source of income and just have more people exposed to your music, and I think that's great. You guys have obviously done a great job of cultivating that so far, and you're just not really getting started. So I mean, I think you guys have got a long way to go with how many followers and stuff that you can ultimately wind up getting, and listeners and stuff.
Yeah, because right now it's just like trying to get all those followers to come out in the cities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a whole game in itself, because then it's like, you know, it's going to be different than just showing up and having your name on the whiteboard, like how it might be here in Lexington. Like they just have it posted on their Facebook page and people show up. But so it's like, you know, putting, like running ads in that city, or you know, there's like legit marketing to try and get people to come out to the show as if it were a product, because they're not just going to come out the woodworks, you know, because like they want to hear the music but they don't know that it's there. So then you just got to press and get them to come out. But that's the next step that I'm looking to.
Well, that's where you said you're in consultations with people that do that for a living, you know, like marketing, you know, like I think that would go a long way. I mean, go a long way for my crew, and I think it definitely will go a long way for any artist, for you guys, for any artist. Like if you got somebody that really knows what they're doing, and especially if they have a little bit of money to work with and can really do it, I mean, that makes all the difference in the world, is just having people know about it. You know, it's like just the other day, you know, just yesterday, I was at this songwriters round that they did for veterans down at the Bluegrass Barrel House in Richmond, and which was a great time. Met a lot of new people, cool people, and just I mentioned Kyle Fields. To me, Kyle Fields is one of the biggest deals. He's got 15,000 people on Facebook. He plays on Broadway every day. Nope, except for just a couple people there that, like the owner and stuff. Nobody had heard of him. I'm like, damn, how could you guys not have heard of him? And he's got 15,000 followers, but people here in Kentucky haven't even heard his name. I'm like, he's incredible, you know, like, so it just goes to show you, you can always be a little better marketed. You can always get your name out there more, because there's so many people that haven't heard of you yet, you know? And I guess that's the $1 million question. That's why you pay for somebody to do that knows what they're doing and can get you out in front of more people. If I knew how to do it, I'd do it. But, you know, same thing with you guys. So I guess the point of that is that there's a lot of potential audience out there that you don't even know about.
8 billion people in the world.
I mean, you just don't know until you stop and think about it. Like, man, there's a lot of people that never even heard a word that I've said, never heard my name, never heard any of my songs, and that should keep you going, you know. Like, I'm going to get to those people, you know. That's like should be a motivator. Like, you know what, they just need to hear it. I just need to find a way for them to hear it, 1 or 2 songs, and maybe they'll become a new person, a new follower, a new whatever, you know. So, or audience member for my show or whatever. So, just something to think about, I guess.
And sometimes that's all it takes, just hearing it, and then you get hooked.
You know,
and there's other means of going around persuading people into liking you, whether it's a trickle down marketing. There's multiple ways. But what's your favorite food right now?
Favorite food?
Yeah.
I was on a big tuna melt kick there for a minute. I was eating a lot of tuna melts because they're easy to make at the house.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't do a lot of cooking, so I was doing tuna melts. What else? I was eating some. I was on a big honey roasted almond kick there for a while. I was eating those by like the handful.
Nice.
What else was that? What have I been eating a lot of? I'll tell you that this makes it pretty easy because it's right across the street from my house. But that Lexington Diner on Lane Allen, oh my god, everything is there is good. They've got this thing called the churro French toast. It'll blow your fucking mind, dude. It's so good. You're in Lexington, I can get you a churro French toast sometime. I've had those several times recently. What else have I been? Dad's Deli up there. The sandwiches, best sandwiches in Lexington, also right by my house.
Where's it?
Dad's Deli. You know that little where the AutoZone is there on Lane Allen? That big complex. There's like a big parking lot, AutoZone, and
I'm blanking.
Well, it's right by my house there.
Yeah.
Garden Springs, Lane Allen. There's a place, Google it, Dad's Deli. I'm gonna give them a shout out. They've got something, but they're only open like 11 to 3. They're a lunchtime place, but man, they got some kick-ass sandwiches.
Are you a fan of wings?
I do like wings. Yeah, you probably judge me for this, but I like the boneless better than the boning because I don't like eating food off a bone very much.
I also mess with boneless.
But actually, they're not even wings though. They're chicken nuggets.
It's just chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I like them both.
I like wings. I will eat wings. I mean, I'll eat
Yeah.
straight up wings too.
Yeah.
But I'm probably 75% boneless when it comes, like, you know,
But
75% of the time I order a boneless as opposed to
Right.
regular. You know.
Why don't you like eating off the bone?
I don't know. I just, even as a kid, ever since I was a kid,
Really?
there's just something about it. Just like, you know, like you just hitting them with your teeth and everything. Like, you know, I guess it's just too real. I need my food processed. You know, I need it all in a nice neat
It's funny.
package for me. And you
You
know,
said-
I'm not going to be the one out there. Even though I'm kind of a redneck, I'm not the one out there skinning deers and shit like that. Like, that's not my
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Yeah.
I was never into hunting, and I do like to fish, but I hardly ever do it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's probably a shortcoming of mine that it's too real because it's on a
Yeah.
bone. I don't know, but
It's
I just
funny.
prefer boneless stuff without a bone in it.
It's funny because you mentioned tuna and then you said processed, and I saw an article this morning. It said that Subway's tuna has 0 tuna DNA in it.
Oh
And
shit!
They tested it, and it's like it has no tuna actually.
It actually is
It's
pretty
interesting.
nasty, so I can believe that.
But yeah, that's funny that you talk about the bone because I grew up with my dad being a hunter, whether it was squirrel, turkey, or deer, and so I'm like well accustomed to walking into the garage with a
Carcass.
dead deer spread out, and he's doing that, or whether we go a couple of counties over to his buddy who lives out kind of more out in the country, and we hunted squirrel a couple times, tried to go for turkey, but I was way too fucking loud for turkey because they're way too smart.
Yeah.
Deer I never got a shot on, but we got some squirrel. I'm not sure if I would ever hunt again. I was really young when it happened. I was young and I was out there popping squirrels out the tree.
Yeah, I've done that
We
too.
got 2 gray squirrels and a fox squirrel, and they taste pretty good too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm all for
Yeah.
hunting. I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with hunting as a thing. I think it's a great tradition. And I think it's actually, with the way things are going in the world, it might become a very important skill someday, you know, if things really take a shit here, which they might. But no, I'm all for it. It's just I don't get a lot of enjoyment out
Yeah.
of killing stuff, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it
and I'm not saying that
Yeah.
people that hunt do get enjoyment out
Yeah.
of killing stuff. I'm not even saying that. It's just not something that I
I get that.
enjoy doing very much, you know. Like, I'm also not an early morning person. And generally that's not
You
an
have
early
to
morning.
get up early.
Yeah, you kind of have to get up early, it seems like. So
Get those
that's
good-
another reason not to hunt, you know.
Yeah.
But I do want to get my fishing stuff in order. My dad died in March, which was a really traumatic thing for me. 2 days before his birthday, and it's still fresh because of the
Yeah.
Father's Day and just
Yeah.
bad. But one of the things that came out of that was I wound up with his boat. So I have my dad's boat now, and he was always much more into boating and fishing and hunting and all that stuff than I ever was. But I do want to get out more in his boat and stuff. And I actually have a garage. I don't have a garage at my house, so I have all this fishing and stuff that I got from him, but no place to lay it out and do anything with it. But I have a garage supposedly coming in July that I ordered, like a prefab thing. Because real garages are about $45,000, I found out. I'm not doing that. But you can get a prefab for a little less than that. And it's supposed to come in July. So I'm waiting for my little garage to come so I can kind of get my fishing stuff together and be able to do that more. So for now, I've just been kind of grabbing a friend and taking the boat out here and there just to joyride on it. Went to the Kentucky River the other day. What a beautiful experience that was, man. If you ever get a chance to go out on the river in a boat, it's just, you get the whole fucking river to yourself, man. There's no traffic out there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's actually what I think I'm doing this afternoon, this evening when we get done with our podcast, taking the boat out. So
Yeah.
we've got a beautiful day outside, and
Yeah.
you hate to waste it, you know. So especially with tomorrow is back to the weekend thing, you know, Thursday night.
Yeah.
Horse and jockey, and then this weekend we're out in Johnson City. I'm really excited about that trip, and so just gotta, you know, when the weather's good and I don't have a gig or something then I feel like I have to take a boat out because when else am I gonna do it, you know?
Yeah, just get some
Excited
life
about that.
experience.
Yeah, just stay out on the water is relaxing and nice and stuff. Until I had a sandbar or something,
Yeah.
sends
Yeah.
flying out of the boat. I hope that doesn't happen, but I told somebody I went a couple weeks with Sam Spear, who's my bass player in my band, and I was telling some people about it when we were at that Lawrenceburg private party because it's right there on the river, and they're like, you be careful out there, man. You'll be in the middle thinking you're in plenty of water, and all of a sudden you come in 1 or 2 foot of water, So that's why I'm like a little nervous about going to the river, but it was so beautiful. I have to risk it again. You know, we were hauling ass down there. We didn't. So I was just like, Sam, what if we had a sandbar this time? We both just go flying out of the boat. The boat just stops and we keep going. You know.
That'd be a good story.
Let's hope it doesn't happen though.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
I mean, I kind of have like a weird question. So I lost my mom a couple years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and so like I have things that, and obviously I was a lot younger, but these things affect everyone differently, and I kind of have things that like help me cope, whether it's different meanings that I've attached to why she passed, or different things that I do to help remember her in a good light. And with it being so like fresh for you, do you have things that like you do? Not that I'm trying to learn, but just that I'm trying to just understand your situation. Cause I know it's so fresh. Like, like is the boat like something that
the boat like is definitely a big piece of what he was. I mean, I wrote a song. I have a song that nobody's really heard yet. I played it last night at that thing, but I got a song that I wrote coming back with all of his stuff called Truckload of Memories that I will be recording eventually. That was one way. I mean, I wrote that when it was real fresh, when I was literally driving back from his house after cleaning out stuff. I don't know, man. Like, I don't really have. I mean, I use drugs and alcohol. I mean, that's part of it, but it doesn't really. I mean, I think about him pretty often, but it does. I don't get too worked up or upset about it too often. I mean, he had a pretty good life and so forth, and but you know, like Father's Day was real tough just a couple days ago. Just gotta keep on keeping on, man. I don't know. I don't have any specific strategies or anything like that. It's just sort of just think about him and kind of hope he'd be proud of what I'm doing. And I think he was. He kind of finally towards the end like said that to me. It's not something he ever said my whole life. He never said I love you. He never said, you know, proud of you or anything like that. But he did towards the end, which was cool. It's just, and it's not because he never did, it's just because it's not the type of guy he was. It's really not the type of guy I am either to say that to people, but he kind of made that clear towards the end there when he knew he was deteriorating and stuff. And I mean, that's all I really can do is just sort of try to honor his legacy, you know, by, I mean, I'm doing the same type of shit he was doing when he was my age, fucking honky talking. And of course, you know, I think he was a little wilder than me. I'm a married man and so forth, but kind of doing the same things that he was doing, following his footsteps in certain ways, and just knowing that he had a good life, and he had me, and he was proud of me, and his time came and his time went. You know, what else can you do? I mean, my time's going to go, your time's going to go. You don't know when it's going to be, and just kind of just move on. I mean, I hate to say it that way, and we haven't even had his memorial yet. His memorial is going to be August 7th in Louisville. He was from Louisville. So we wanted to wait a while for everything to sort of settle down on it and have the family and stuff have a chance to know about it. And we're going to do, and that'll be really that's going to be very hard, you know, because that's going to feel like the final goodbye. We're going to put his ashes in the thing with my grandparents and stuff. And like, so maybe that's why it's not been so bad yet, because it feels like it's not over with him. But it's not easy, man. It's not easy. And you know that obviously, but you know, you just got to remember that everybody has a time, you know, and he had a hell of a fucking run, you know, and like, his time's over now, sadly, but it's sad, but it's going to be over for all of us sometime.
For sure.
I guess that's the way I get through
it. Yeah. And then, I guess it's kind of like a deeper personal question, but, so do you still have your mom, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's still alive. She's up in, she's the last one I have left as far as grandparents and parents go.
Gotcha.
But she's up in Ohio. She's in Springfield. She's doing pretty good.
Is that where you're from? You from Ohio?
I'm from Ohio originally, yeah. I grew up in southeastern Ohio, though, like near Zanesville, a little town called McConnellsville, Ohio, in the Appalachian part of Ohio. But yeah, I'm from Ohio, and then after I joined the Army when I was 18 and rolled out, and then ultimately my mom moved to like the Springfield, Ohio area, which is about 3 hours from where I'm from. It's over in western Ohio, in between Columbus and Dayton. But yeah, she's up there, and I should get up there more, but I get up there fairly often, every month or two, to visit her for a night. She'll cook up a big meal for me.
Yeah.
She's been down to see the band a couple of times with my stepdad, and she's still kicking. I talk to her pretty often. She doesn't do a whole lot. She just kind of she's home most of the time, and she's content to sort of just watch TV and surf Facebook, and like most moms her age probably do. But
that's how my dad's doing it.
yeah, but no, she's still there. I'll be up to see her before too long, I'm sure. You know,
Right.
Get me another good meal from mom.
Of course. Yeah.
Visit with her and stuff.
Yeah, so my dad and my mom, they weren't like big cooks, but I have a friend whose granny, we used to stay at her house a lot, and she used to, like, anything she cooked was bomb, just like fire, just like, because she was the mom that was always cooking, and the reason kind of why I was kind of interested in like the biscuits and pork thing is because she used to make amazing biscuits.
Don't tell Benjamin.
Yeah, he's gonna show it to them.
He'll be over there asking if she needs an OB.
Yeah. But yeah, home cooked meals when they're done right are good. Because Cody's mom's good cook too.
And it's a dying art, man. These women nowadays, they don't want to cook. They don't want to do nothing. Now watch, they're gonna get me on misogynistic here on that shit, but they don't. I mean, they don't want to cook. You know. I mean, some girls probably do. Some guys do too, but
Yeah.
I don't like to cook, and my wife don't like to cook, and I don't know very many young gals that are all about it, like the moms and grandmas were. You know, I mean, it's just a different era now. You know, so
Yeah.
you got to get that good cooking whenever you can. You know, it's just not everybody that's doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Don't cancel me on that, y'all.
It's definitely a different style back then. Yeah. So it was very much like cornbread and biscuits and whatever else. And now it's like pastas and tacos and other stuff.
Yeah.
The home cooking is turning into something different.
Chipotle,
Oh yeah, Chipotle. Rice and beans.
tacos and stuff. Yeah, it's not the same. It's just a different era, you know. Mom was lasagna was one of her specialties, and meatloaf. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
Barbecue meatloaf.
Yeah, meatloaf.
Tuna noodle casserole. These were all the jams. Those are her three main jams that I will still ask for today. She did all kinds of stuff, but she can make any one of those anytime, and I'm gonna not complain. You know, meatloaf, tuna noodle casserole, or lasagna. Those are the big ticket items there.
Lasagna is
a good lasagna is
Yeah.
something else.
Oh yes.
Have you ever eaten at Carrabba's?
Yeah, I've been to Carrabba's before. It's been a long time though. I wouldn't want to comment on them because it's been so long since I've ate that one. Probably 5 years since I've had one.
Because we used to work there, and I swear everything that they had was really good.
Yeah, I think I remember having an Alfredo thing there that was so rich, that was so creamy. Alfredo, like a chicken Alfredo or something.
Yeah.
But that's about anywhere you get that stuff. It's so creamy, you know. But I don't recall too much about Carrabba's. I remember I've been to once or twice, you know. But it was good. It seemed kind of upscale, like an Olive Garden type of. Maybe Olive Garden, except a little nicer than Olive Garden.
Yeah, that's how we saw it.
Yeah. The OG Lounge.
Yeah.
You guys ever listen to Dane Cook, the comedian?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
He would talk about the OG Lounge, talk about Olive Garden.
Would you ever go to Mars?
To the planet? I think I like it here on Earth best. I'll leave that to more adventuresome souls than me.
Are you like,
did you ever take any trips?
Trips in a car or in a different type?
Like up to space, maybe not to Mars, but just to space.
I'm gonna plead the fifth. No, I've experimented a lot of different stuff. That's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking. I'm not sure. Trips?
No, I'm just thinking, like a trip on a rocket ship to space.
Oh, hell no. Would I or have I?
Would you?
Yeah, no.
So like if the world was ending and they were like, oh, you can leave the planet if you want,
or die here in Inferno. Well, I suppose I'd have to take the last thing smoking, out of the planet, but I would not do that because I feel the need to do that on an adventurous level. I leave that to younger, more adventurous souls.
That would be crazy if the world ended and we had to go to Mars. We were just living on Mars. That'd be crazy.
I don't see that not being a possibility. I mean, we're fucking this planet up, I mean, it's everything that seems to be going to shit. I don't know if you guys have heard of peak oil. Have you ever heard of that? It's an economic theory.
Let's hear it.
Have your listeners check out peak oil, but only do it if you're okay with being depressed for your great-grandchildren's future. But in a nutshell, peak oil happens when the world's discoverable oil that has been discovered. Right now, it's a curve like this, right? We're like right here on the curve. When you get to here, when you're in the middle, when you are halfway through your discovered oil, and you start going downward, and basically you're using more oil, and it's getting depleted, and there's no more being found. there's going to be big problems
Mm.
in the world because everything is based on oil.
Oil, yeah.
You don't understand. Like you think, oh, we can have solar. Okay, you got to think bigger. Plastic is all made out of oil. Fertilizer for food is made out of oil.
Mm.
Everything, this computer is made out of oil. Like everything's made out of oil, not just transportation. So when you start running out of it, like for real running out of it, because right now we still have a ton of oil left.
Yeah.
They know where there's a bunch more, but it's not always going to be that way.
Right.
When that happens, things are going to get really, really bad.
Yeah.
I watched some documentaries about it. It's bad.
Bad as
More or
in-
less, like, in 1910, the world's population was about 1.52 billion.
Yep.
It's like 11 billion now, and the only reason that was able to happen was because of industrial farming,
Mm.
which is all the fertilizer and the gas to do the tractors and everything. It's all oil.
Mm.
So when you don't have any oil anymore and you can't support that type of farming and everything, people start getting hungry.
Yep.
People have guns.
Mm.
People will do whatever it takes to take care of their family.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be here when that happens.
Mm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's sad, but it's
Pretty
true, man.
daunting.
Look up peak oil. Read about it.
Mm.
It's not gonna be good. See, we probably won't have to worry about it. They're not calling for it to happen until like 2060.
Mm.
I mean, it's not too far down the road.
Mm.
So, if it was just transportation, I wouldn't be so worried about it because I figure, they're gonna figure out electric cars and stuff like that. But it's all the other stuff that you don't even think oil has any play in.
Mm.
It keeps our world running,
Yeah.
Microchips and things like that, like it's crazy, man.
The energy to make anything comes from the oil
Everything.
that's generated from electricity.
Everything, and it's also, like I say, it's an ingredient and stuff
Mm.
that's even worse, So anyway, I don't want to depress the listeners, but look at peak oil if you're interested in what the future possibly will look like, unless there's some big changes technologically between now and then.
That's super interesting. Mars.
God, we can't end on that. Better think of something else to talk
We gotta
about.
go to Mars. We gotta go to Mars.
Yeah, get that Mars.
That's the main thing. Go to Mars.
I feel like
Colonize it.
I definitely feel like we'll get to Mars. And like
I think they're already going here, aren't they? Go there some
they're
lined
gonna
up.
start doing commercial space flights, like Jeff Bezos. is going
Yeah,
to space.
Bezos.
But yeah, I think it's Richard Branson maybe. They're doing like the guy that owns like Virgin
Virgin,
Mobile.
yeah.
Yeah, they're doing they're gonna have like commercial, almost like planes, but they go to space. But pretty
Yeah, I
interesting.
read about
But
some
obviously,
of that.
you probably have to have
A lot of money.
millions of dollars to get a seat.
It's just like anything though, man. Like it always starts that way. Any new technology, anything that's brand new, cutting edge, like
Yeah.
a flat screen TV in 1995 or something,
Yeah.
paying $15,000-$20,000
Yeah.
for it, you can get one now for like $250.
Yeah,
So just think about that. It's always that way on anything.
that's true.
new,
Yeah, we got Elon Musk trying to get us to Mars. I feel like we'll definitely get there.
By the end of your life or our lifetime, of course I'm like 15 years older than you guys, I think, but by the end of your
How old
life,
are you?
I'm
How old are you?
39.
39,
Yeah,
24.
yeah, I was right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's foreseeable. I mean, it could be something that people like take their family to fucking Mars or something,
Yeah.
Big it's not being affordable like that, and they have like big ass airplane like things to do it. I mean,
Family
anything's
vacation.
conceivable, Actually, the wife asked me today. She's like, "Are we having a baby soon?" I said, "It's conceivable." I said, "Oh."
Mm.
That was a joke. I was trying to
No.
get a conceivable. I wish I had to say
Yeah.
conceivable first because I did actually write that joke.
Mm.
I've been telling that one on stage. People like that.
They like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Little pun.
I do a lot of those. And my German girl, she asked me. She said we could try anal.
Okay.
And we always rate our sex between 1 and 10.
Mm.
And we tried anal for the first time. She was screaming 9, 9, 9. It was the best we'd ever done. That's for your audience.
Do you say that at the beach?
No. I don't know why I told that joke. We were talking about jokes.
Mm.
No. I tell her my main questionable joke I do on stage is, folks, we got the Home Depot bucket down there, and we do accept all forms of generosity. And listen, everything's going to charity. I said it's all going to charity. I'll be seeing her later down there at Baby Dolls, and I'll tell you, she sure could use the money, folks. So please be generous. I say we also take them digitally there, but just one digit at a time, please.
I don't know.
I say like stuff like that. And people, I see them out there kind of like giggling and stuff. So.
Yeah.
And then we usually get some tips. So
That's a good stuff.
I try to keep them laughing, man.
Yeah.
I definitely try to push the envelope of what's PC and stuff because
Yeah.
I mean I'm a little older, so I have a big problem with the whole PC thing where you can't tell jokes that are off color and stuff without getting canceled and everything. Like I think people should be able to just laugh, you know, like you know, make fun of each other sometimes, and you know, not in a mean spirited way, but people should just be able to joke around and stuff anymore. And since I get the mic, I push it to as far as I'll take it. Nobody's thrown me off the stage yet or anything yet, so I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, you know.
That's a big thing as far as like comedians go. They kind of say like everything else should be taken seriously, but as far as comedy goes, comedy is meant and was designed to
shock,
to poke holes at things,
or
to shock, or to show like the craziness and the reality of what we're kind of going through, whether it's presidents or policies or you know just like day-to-day relationships. Like comedy was invented as a cultural aspect to poke holes at things that are meant to be looked at from a different point of view, and that's kind of the comedian's biggest argument is like leave us alone, but let everything, because like it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean the minute you start like, well, I don't think they've done it too much. I think they got Louis C.K. on something, but that was some sexual stuff. But like the minute they start canceling comedians for off color and un-PC jokes, like we're fucked, you know, like. It's bad, you know. Like I saw this thing where Billie Eilish, I don't know if you've ever heard of her or something, or she's like, I don't know much about her, but I saw where just yesterday she was catching a bunch of shit because when she was 13, there was some TikTok video of her singing along and to a rap song, somebody else's song, and she said the word chinks. I'm sorry, I'm you know, okay, don't cancel me. She said that, and then somebody dug up the video and they're like, she's anti-Asian, racist, and all this stuff, and it's like,
but
she was 13 and she was singing along to a song where the guy said chinks in the song. Like, come the fuck on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, dude. It's one thing to go out and like, you know, to berate somebody based on their race or gender or something, or another thing to like treat them differently or say, no, they can't come in here or something. Oh, no, that does not work for me. You know, I would be the first one to speak up on that. But this whole idea of trying to track people down and make them apologize for things they did when they were teenagers and stuff, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's how I feel about it.
Unless it was like a serious crime, it's like, well, fuck you. But.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I'm just not about that life, man. It's like, I live and let live, and like, you know, judge people by their actions, I guess, and like, this gotcha stuff, like, oh, gotcha, you know, and just, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it, and I think it just makes people scared as hell. Just say the wrong thing and be done. You know, everything they work for their whole life and stuff, and just done because of some drunken utterance or something like that. You know, like the shit that happened to what's his face, the country guy. I can't remember his name, but
Morgan.
Wallen. Yeah, I mean, like, should he be around yelling stuff like that? No. But was he drunk and actually talking about his buddy, like, take care of that, you know? You call him asshole or something like that, but he used the N-word, which was a damn shame for him, and he got caught on the thing. Like, to me, I think, like, it's like, why do people feel the need to cancel somebody on something like that? It was just something, he was just drunk as fuck, like, does that make any sense to what I'm trying to say? Like, some little thing like that should not cost somebody their entire fucking career. I'm sorry, but it should. But that's my opinion, you know.
I think it's case by case. I think it's hard to determine because we don't know.
Because all these people have cameras now, and they're just trying to they're filming everything, and it's like, man, you know, this generation it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good that everything's being filmed and everything's being shared with one click of a button and stuff, because people have been fucking up for millennia, but now stuff's getting caught on camera and everything, and it's like, people are making judgments about a whole person's character based on one little incident in their life or something. To me, I don't think it's right. You know, that's my personal opinion. But that's just my opinion. And everybody's entitled to their own.
I think it's good that everything's being shown. Doesn't need to be judged and never given a second chance. That's different. But another topic. What would you get on your pizza if you were gonna get a pizza? Right
Move away
now?
from that pretty quick, and that's reasonable. Pizza. Well, would I be a total outcast if I said I do like pineapple on pizza?
Do you?
Oh
like
yeah,
it?
ham pineapple, Hawaiian, good. I'll tell you my go-to. My wife likes ham pineapple,
Yeah.
so I'm good with it too. But I would say onion and mushroom. I go with that a lot. I love onion.
Just onion and mushroom.
Yeah, a lot of times I really don't a lot of times feel the need for a meat on pizza.
Okay.
It's so like greasy and stuff anyway. Like sometimes that's like overkill, especially like the meat lover. If you got like sausage, pepperoni, and all this different stuff on it, that's like overkill for me.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty happy with mushroom and onion. I like green peppers.
Green peppers good. I like banana peppers.
I don't like banana peppers. I like green peppers though, and I like red peppers a lot too, actually. But not so much banana peppers. They got that sourness to them, you know.
They got a little heat.
A little sourness, you know.
Yeah. I like. I feel like I would get anything on a pizza. I would do all veggie. I would do all meat. I feel like I'll probably like the bottom of my list is probably gonna be, and no shade at anybody that likes it, but like exactly what you just said, like pineapple and ham. That's probably like my lowest.
Oh, lowest, you hate that? It's good
But
though, man.
I don't hate any of it. It's just
It's not your favorite.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that sweetness in there with the cheese and everything is good, personally. But I know that's a very contentious issue.
I've been doing pizza with no red sauce, replaced with barbecue sauce.
That's good with chicken too. Put some
barbecue
chicken on
sauce,
it.
chicken, onions.
Yes, no, that's good.
Yeah.
If you like that type of pizza, I'm gonna tell you where you gotta go to Sir Pizza, dude, and get their Hawaiian.
I've
Or
heard-
not the Hawaiian, but their I think it might be called Hawaiian barbecue. Carl Washington put me on it, and I had for 2 or 3 times in a row that I had pizza. I went with that. It was so good.
I've heard
That'll
all
blow
about
your
Sir
fucking mind,
Pizza.
dude.
There was a Sir Pizza in Winchester, but it just looked so sketchy that I never went there.
They
got-
can look a little sketchy.
You've got to go to this one right here in town, and it's got the barbecue. It's got the barbecue sauce as a pizza sauce, and it's got the chicken and the onions, just like you just talked about.
Yeah.
It will blow your mind. It
I'm
will
about to
truly
try it.
blow your mind.
I'm about to try it.
It's really good.
Another really good pizza. Have you ever had Donato's?
Yeah, I'm not crazy. They're actually from Columbus. They're
They
from
have
Ohio.
they have a hot chicken pizza.
Okay.
It's got pickles on it, and you wouldn't think like pickles on pizza would be good, but it's actually like pretty dope.
Do you like
Okay.
pickles?
I'm not crazy about pickles. I'm really not.
Do you put it on?
I'll tell you where I like them though is on those
Or chicken
the chicken sandwiches. You know, like the
Chick-fil-A or
Chick-fil-A and also like Popeyes and stuff. Like all the
Just in
places now they're
general,
in the chicken wars.
Oh, I
They're
have
putting
a-
pickles.
I have
They're
a-
good. They're good in that set.
I have another important question:
Yes.
Cane's or Zaxby's?
Canes. I don't really love either one of them.
Yeah, I
To be
figured you
completely
did.
honest with you. I don't love either
Yeah.
one of them, but I would take the Canes over to Zaxby's.
Yeah,
Okay.
right on. So, do you like desserts at all? Are you big on
Yeah,
desserts?
I mean, not big on them, but I do like certain things, you know, like
Yeah.
pies and brownies and
Yeah.
candy and chocolate bars and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I don't do a ton. What's your specific question about desserts, though? Just
you
which ones do I like?
And then what-
I'll tell you, cheesecake's good, tiramisu's
Yeah.
good.
Cheesecake's
Uh,
my favorite thing in the world.
What's some other good stuff? Cheesecake's killer. I mean, that's probably one of my go-tos.
Especially like
Yeah.
I never had the Cheesecake Factory until
Oh, dude.
a couple years ago.
They're good.
Changed my life.
Yeah, they're good. You know, one of those slices has like 1,200 calories in it.
Yeah, it's horrible for you,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
not good, but it is good.
it tastes great if you love cheesecake.
I'll tell you, just ice cream too, of course. You
Yeah.
know, like a hot fudge sundae or something. That'll
Okay.
be right.
Mm.
I like froyo.
Frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I think
funny,
I take
whenever we
ice
do
cream,
these
too.
podcasts, I feel like towards the end, I ask people more and I want to talk about food more. Because towards the end of the podcast, I start getting hungry. And so I'm, like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying
You don't look
to.
like you eat enough anyway, man. You're so skinny, you know.
I
But
would
you're like
say,
looking ripped. You're looking ripped though.
Yeah, it's better to
You've
look
been
like
working out
this.
and
You know, it's better to look like this and have excess.
No,
That's how
trust
I
me.
am.
I mean, we could trade a little bit out and be about where we needed to be. I think, but
No, I'm extremely happy with
I'm in
that.
the worst. I'm in the worst shape of my life, honestly. Yeah, probably. Well, I was a little worse a couple of years ago. I pulled it back from the brink. I was pushing like 280 there for a minute. I said, "Ugh." Now I'm like in the low 260s, which is still fat for me. I got out of the army at 205 pounds. If that tells you anything, and I'm at like 262, 263 right now. So
But you're
definitely
tall,
gained.
though.
But I definitely gained some weight. I I was more built like you at that time, just taller, you know. But
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
6'4".
Yeah.
It's a solid height. You ever try to dunk it back in the day?
I can get the rim, but I've never been able to actually get a ball. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can get up there. Today, I probably still could get the rim, but
I can get the rim.
But as far as getting a ball actually to go in, I don't think I've ever been able to manage to do that.
Yeah.
White men can't jump, is what they told me. So.
Yeah,
and I'm not the best jumper, you know. I'm not the best jumper, but I was tall. I mean, I played a little b-ball, but I was never that good at it. I played football in high school and played and did track.
What position in football?
I did defensive end.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did the discus and the shot put and track.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only sports I did. In Little League and stuff, I played baseball.
Yeah.
But kind of fell out of it, you know. Kind of fell out of it like after the 8th grade or whatever.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed playing football and stuff. It was fun. I actually had a chance to go play in college, but it was just a small school, West Virginia Wesleyan University offered me. But
that's neat though.
What's that?
So that's neat though.
Yeah, but I had my mind set on joining the Army at that time,
Yeah.
so I was all about the Army, and my brother was in the Army and stuff, so I knew what I was going to do from the time I was like a freshman in high school. I was like, all I got to do is get through high school. I was a D student, you know, I hated high school. But I got through it and got the Army, and it really turned me around, you know. I did a lot of growing up in the Army, and then by the time I got out, you know, and had my GI Bill, I went to college and got like 4.0, you know. It was never about intelligence, it was just about, I just didn't want to be there. Effort, you know, if I didn't want to be there, I'm still like that. If I don't want to be there, I just have a hard time giving it 100%, you know.
What did they have you doing in the Army, or what did you choose?
I was,
to do
I chose my job. I was a petroleum supply specialist, so which basically glorified gas station guy, except we drove like 5,000 gallon fuel tankers, and I had actually more specifically, I usually drove a 2,500 gallon, and it's called a Hemet fuel truck, and that was what I did. That was my job. That was my MOS, they call it, your military occupational specialty.
Yep.
But then by the time I actually went anywhere to do anything, which was Iraq, by that time I had been selected to be the Sergeant Major's driver. So I just drove a Humvee. It was only supposed to be like a 3-month detail to go be his driver. And then we got the orders to Iraq, and he was like, "Well, I like you, and you know what I want, so you're going to be my driver." And he just kept me the whole time that we were in Iraq. So my last 15 months or so of the Army, I was just driving the boss man, driving what you would call the top enlisted soldier in the battalion, you know, E9. I was the E4. So they get their own driver, and I was his driver, and I loved it. I loved being his driver because my buddies, you know, they were out there, you know, getting shot at and stuff, and out on convoys every day. And I had friends that nobody got killed, thank God, for my unit, but we had people got hit, and we had people that had to take some lives and defending a convoy and stuff. That I know my one buddy, you know, it still affects him today. I mean,
from taking someone's life.
Well, yeah, he said that they came under attack, and he was, you know, shooting back basically, and like there was a kid, dude, it was like a 12-year-old kid, he said 12 or somewhere around there, that had an RPG pointed right at him, and he shot him before he was able to shoot them with the RPG. And he said he still sees that kid today and stuff like that, like really messed him up, you know. So thank God I didn't have to do anything of that nature, you know, while I was in the Army. Had some close calls. I almost got hit by a mortar one time. That's probably the closest call.
Okay, let's talk about that. Hold on. Let's not.
There wasn't too much.
There
wasn't too much to talk about. I was actually I was inside the wire, so I wasn't out on a convoy or anything. I was just sitting. I was actually talking to my wife, my girlfriend at the time. I was talking to her on the phone in the MWR building. They called it where they had like a phone bank, you know, where guys could go and call home and stuff or use the computer.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there talking. All of a sudden, it was just like, boom! And it's like the whole building just shook like this. And we're like, what the fuck? You know, and I was like, I gotta go. And I went outside and like, probably from me to where the computer is over there on the other side of a wall. You know, just imagine there's a wall right here. I'm sitting here, and where that computer's at,
that's where it landed.
A mortar landed, and I'm coming out there. There's a smoking hole, just a big ass hole in the ground, and there's like smoke coming out of it. And it's like, fuck, dude, like 3 or 4 or 5 more feet, that would have come through the roof of the building, probably killed us all, you know. So that was a close call.
Where was that at?
That was in Tikrit, Iraq. You know, Tikrit, Fob Spiker.
Okay.
That's where I spent most of my time, was at Fob Spiker.
Where all have you been?
Travel-wise or with the Army?
With Army.
With the Army, I did my basic at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I went to Fort Lee, Virginia for AIT, and then I went to, they got sent to Korea as my first duty station, so I spent a year in Korea when I was 19, which was incredible time actually. You could drink at 19 when you're in the Army over there. So I had my first taste of serious boozing. And then I wanted to go to Germany because my brother was in the Army and he was stationed in Germany. And this is what happened. This is kind of a crazy story. So I wanted to go to Germany, but I'd only signed up to the Army for 3 years. And so by the time I was getting ready to be done with Korea, I only had like a year and 2 months left on my contract. And they told me, they said, you have to be have 2 years left to go to Germany as a single soldier, or 3 years if you have a family. Wow, I didn't have a family. So they said, you can do if you'll do a voluntary extension with your company commander, yes, sign a piece of paper, yes, I'll do 8 more months, then we'll send you to Germany. I was like, I can do 8 more months, yeah, no problem, you know. So I signed up for it, got sent to Germany, awesome. And after the time that my initial term would have been expired, so we're into that extra 8 months. During that extra 8-month time is when we got orders to Iraq, and they did what they called stop loss, which meant nobody could leave. You couldn't get out of the Army, you couldn't go to another duty station. You're just like, you're trapped. It was like, really like, they call it like a draft. It's like, except the guys were already in, they were getting drafted. You're supposed to be getting out. So I wound up staying, I was in the Army for almost 5 years, 4 years and 8 months. I signed up for 3. And because of that, and because of me signing up for that extra little time to go to Germany, that's how I got stop loss, and my 3 years turned into, well, technically, I voluntarily said 3 years and 8 months. It turned into 4 years and 8 months, basically, because they kept me for another year to go to Iraq, which really dashed my plans at the time, but it all worked out for the best, you know. I wouldn't be with my girl if that hadn't happened, just because of the way life played out because of it happening. And I got out of the Army with like $25,000 in the bank, which was a lot more than any other college kids that I was running around with had.
Of course.
You know, and I was a combat vet. That set me in the future to be able to get my federal job working for the government. I worked for the government for like 10 years.
Doing what?
I was human resources. That's what I went to college for, was human resources specialist. So I got in through an internship with the federal government in Columbus, and stayed with them for a long time until just 2019 when I quit. I quit to go do my Europe trip. I think you guys probably remember I took off and went to Europe for 6 months. So I was working for the government up until that time, and then I quit. My wife was like, "Now's your chance." And I said, "Sounds good to me." So then I quit and went and did 6 months in Europe. Went to 18 countries in Eastern Europe and had a fucking blast.
And that was solely travel.
Yeah, it was just me and a car, guitar, and 2 weeks of clothes.
Did you bring anybody with you?
I didn't bring anybody with me, but I did have visitors come. Like my wife came a couple of times while I was there. My buddy Grant came in for like 6 weeks. Bingman, Dr. Bingman, he came. He was there for about 2.5 weeks and played some music with me. I was basically busking, you know. I would go to different cities, and then I would get there and play on the streets what I would do is usually I would get there, because I was doing a blog too, bigjobtravels.com. And I would go around the first time I got to a city the first day and kind of see the stuff that I'd researched, the tourist type stuff, you know, go take some pictures for the blog and stuff. And I'd also be scouting of where I could play on the street. And then the second day I would come down and I'd play 4, 5 hours on the street and make money. And people, they were very generous to me over there. They liked their country music over there in Eastern Europe. They came by, and I would, 9 days out of 10, I'd make enough to pay for my room that night, to pay for my food and drink, and have a little extra money. Like I literally financed 6 months on Europe just by playing music on the street mostly, and then sometimes that would lead to gigs in a bar. You'd be like, "Hey, who are you?" And why are you American? You know, like, you know, I don't know. Pay me, you know, I'll play, you know, that sort of thing. And then I got on the radio a couple times over there, just meeting people randomly. Like in Ukraine, I was on the radio twice actually. Moldova, I was on the radio. I mean, it was a crazy time. It was a really great experience. I was going to go back in 2020 and do some different countries that I didn't get a chance to go to, like Estonia, Latvia, and up there in the Baltic states, they call it Poland. I wanted to do that.
Do they speak a second language there, or is it?
Here's the beautiful thing, man. Well, let me just wrap that up, and I'll tell you. But then the pandemic happened, so I didn't get to go back. So I'm hoping to actually still be able to go next year and hit those countries up there. I'll probably move my last 2 raw, because we are talking about, you know, I told her it was conceivable about us having babies and all, so that may happen. That may have to happen pretty soon, just by biology, you know.
Of course.
But I do want to do that. But as far as the languages go, very fortunate. We, as Americans and British people, are very fortunate that English is our native language, because English is the world language. And when I say that, it means if you're at a hostel in, let's say, Czech Republic, and you meet somebody from Norway, and they meet somebody from South Africa, and you meet somebody from China, and then you're all sitting around a table, you know what language they're going to be speaking? English. Okay, we're the world language, so they all have to learn English just to be able to be a international type of person. If they want to engage in any kind of business or anything like that, whatever country they're from, they're going to learn English. So almost everybody can speak English in the world. Nearly everybody, like nearly every people from every country is what I mean to say. So, you know, you'll go to a hostel or something, and you'll meet people from all over the place, but they're all speaking English. So we just get lucky, you know, because it's our native language. So.
The hostels cost anything? Or some.
Oh yeah, they're never free, but I mean, depends on where you are. You know, like when I was in Bosnia, played Serbian places, like I'm staying for like $7, $8, $9 a night. You know, but if you go to like Norway or some place that's really expensive, you can pay $150 a night for a hostel room. I mean, it all depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell people go to Eastern Europe if you're going on a budget, because it's cheap as fuck. You know, and the people are great, and it's really fun time there. A lot of history and stuff.
Because I'm interested, because I want to do like the exact same thing.
You should totally do it, man. You'll meet all kinds of people that when you do that, I mean, it's great to have the car. I had the inside connection because my wife's from Germany. You know, her parents still live in Germany, so they had an extra car. That made life really easy. But you can do it without a car. It's just harder because you'd have to lug everything, you know. But you can get around on trains and buses and stuff like that in Europe pretty easy. They have a very well developed transportation network. So you could do it without a car. Actually, most travelers do it without a car, but most travelers aren't carrying an amp, a guitar.
Did you bring all that with you?
So that's where the car really came in handy, you know. So you can do it, but you'd have a harder time without a car doing it exactly the way that I did it. You know
and what all did you bring with you?
Oh, I had like 2 weeks worth of clothes. I had my guitar. I had an amp, a battery powered amp that were rechargeable, you know, that I could use to play on the street. And just, you know, odds and ends, you know, toiletries and stuff like that. And then if I didn't have the car, I mean, that'd be a hell of a lot. You'd have to have a backpack that was good size for all of your stuff that you need. You'd have to be able to carry the guitar some kind of way and carry an amp, and you just wouldn't want to do that. That'd be hard. So, so I'm not sure without the car how you would do it exactly how I do it, but you could go do the traveling piece of it.
Of course.
For sure. I mean, you could do that without a car. Absolutely. That's how most people do it. You know, most people that go over and do that and travel for like 6 months or something, they don't have a car.
Because I would love to bus with the amp. You know?
Well, that's the thing, though. So then you have to worry about getting it around and stuff. You know, so which I like. Right, there's a huge street performing culture all over Europe, much bigger than here. You know. Like,
there's like zero here.
There's very little here, but over there it's kind of a big thing, and a lot of it's because the cities are ancient. And you know, and they're built with like a town square, more or less. You know, a city square. There'll be multiple of them in bigger cities, so it's just where people congregate and hang out. So you can go there and play, and you're going to have a humongous audience of people passing by. And a lot of times, the culture is let's just give the performer something, especially if they're good. You know.
Yeah, excited just thinking about it because I've always wanted to go over there and do something like that because all of my favorite artists have come from the UK or for Europe. I mean. Ed Sheeran, One Direction, the Beatles. I mean, I'm just very.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend doing that to anybody. I really would. And if you can finagle some way to get you a car, it just makes it that much easier. You know. I mean, they have rentals, but then you got money to pay for that sort of thing. You know. So.
And the Euro's more expensive than the US.
It is at the moment. It wasn't that way always, but I think it's come down. There was a time when it was getting to where it was like $1.50, $1.50 to get €1. Yeah. That makes shit expensive when you're getting into that level. When it first came out, when I was actually stationed in Europe, when the euro came out, or I got there right after the euro came out because it was Deutschmarks before that, and at that time it was like you could get a euro for like you get more than €1 for $1, and then it got to the point where it was like $1.50 to get €1. And I think it's come down a little bit now, like $1.30, $1.25.
That's 120.
Something 120. Yeah, so that's a little more reasonable, you know. But highly recommend it. Highly recommend that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm very interested in that. Very. So, you're gonna go boating after this.
Yeah, we'll see. How's the weather out there? It's still looking really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to take and go put it in the river again because I had so much fun going on the river. I know they said it's a little risky with the shallow spots and stuff, but I don't know. We've had a good amount of rain. I think it'll be up big enough to where we can go do it again. It's just crazy down there because there's no other boats. You don't see any other boats out on the Kentucky River out there. And it was a beautiful day and didn't see a single other boat. So we got to go do that again soon.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll be the plan here for the evening.
Right on. That sounds good.
Yes, sir.
I think we'll probably cut it right here. Let you
Okay.
get out there and do that. Is there anything that you want to tell the people of the planet? That
Well-
you want to tell them you're going to Mars, or what do you want to say?
I'm gonna leave the Mars to them and to you guys. Maybe you'll be
Okay.
all right. But I do want to thank you guys very much, man, for inviting me to be a part of your event. I hope you have a lot of success with the podcast. Hope you have a lot of success with building your online following and continuing. It sounds like you guys have already done a great job on that. And just want to thank you for doing that and wanting to showcase other artists. Like that's my style. So I appreciate you guys doing that for another artist. And I hope you do that for more and more artists as you get going. And I hope you get a lot of followers on this and just a lot of success to you guys, man. I think you're both incredibly talented, and I hope that more people get to hear you guys and feel the same way. I'm sure they will. If they get to hear you, I'm sure they'll feel the same way. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming, and
Glad to have you.
peace out. See you all.